This Mali kit, very brightly coloured, very easy to pick out. We'll be able to see that in the road races quite easily. Staying to the right-hand side of the road as much as possible, just trying to keep this power nice and high. Tamuku Damotene makes it round that turn. That was the turn at Twizera who had a little problem with, the Rwandan. Nice big gear, not in the biggest gear yet, all in the gear over nicely. This experience of riding the World Championships is huge for these African riders and a big chance for them to be on the world stage. He's got the aero wheels that he's been able to use here. Doesn't have the disc wheel in the back. Obviously he hasn't been able to get a time trial machine in Mali. Nevertheless, he looks like a powerful rider. He looks to be riding pretty strongly. This is Aditya Prasetyo riding for Qatar. Prasetyo is underway. Just wondering if the mascots peaked a little bit early this afternoon. We're getting close to that point then where we will be able to see that first split. That's a beautiful shot, isn't it, of the background, but of course in the foreground is the Genocide Museum and Memorial, which we're planning to go and see during this week, because it's one of the places that here in Rwanda you really should meet, just to see what it's all about and to try and remember the atrocities of a number of years ago. Twizera is riding well, pedaling those gears over nicely. Still riding well, isn't he? Those shoulders aren't moving. He's really bolted into that saddle nicely. There's the vital statistics of this climb, 8.6% at the bottom. So the bottom really does hurt the legs. Average gradient 5.8. You've got some respite. And he's making short work of this climb. He's going very, very well, and he'll set the standard for everybody else to beat when he reaches the top of this first rise of the day. The rider's taking in 3 climbs on today's course. Cooks his way through the gears. Time trialing is such a difficult discipline that you really have to be so focused on. You have to have time on your time trial bike. You've got to feel like it's part of you. You've got to have that position perfect. The hands on those extensions, those skis, those aero bars, that you just need to get everything right so that the shoulders are in the right position, the head dips down. And he's got a good position. It's not perfect by any means, but it's certainly working for him. It's all about getting the most slippery surface, basically, for the bike to slide through the air. Here's our next rider about to go. This is Umaru Musa of Cameroon. We've just missed the start of Tekle Alemeo. Cameroon rider underway, rides for Espoir de Mboa, 11th in the national championships, just rode the national road race actually and finished 3rd there in the men's junior in his career, and in the men's elite he finished 11th. So this rider is young, 20 years of age. Coming up then to the first of our intermediate splits in about 700 metres actually. He's going to see that intermediate time split just up and round that corner. The Akagera National Park. You can see all the different birds here. Nearly 500 bird species around that national park. One of the most significant sites in the region for bird watching. The park also includes the iconic Big Five, and lions and rhinos have been reintroduced and thriving alongside the elephants, the buffaloes, the zebras and the giraffes. Also, in 2025, the park welcomed 70 southern white rhinos. This is the Kenyan rider going, as we go back here to the start of the People's Republic of China rider Li Yu. Fantastic atmosphere. Coming up to the intermediate split, the first rider goes through with an average speed 38.765. Fantastic atmosphere up here at the top of this climb, it really is. So the Rwandan rider, Twizeri, is going well, and he's now going to get himself into the next phase of this time trial. Nearly 70 kilometers an hour. Back to the start then of our next rider. This is Gomalemo Kiolotswe. Now to get going, rolls down the ramp for Botswana. Out on the course with Jadel Gabriel of the Seychelles. Looks to be riding really conservatively right now. He's riding well, but you can notice just the way, just turning the pedals over. He's got the aero bike, so that's giving him a little bit of an advantage. Really lovely, consistent pedaling style, the way he's riding. There's no pushing, is there? It's all just turning the pedals over really nicely, heading in a nice, easy line. Currently at 40 kilometers an hour. He's going to have to find a little bit more speed than that if he wants to be one of the top riders in the early stages. But certainly on this particular climb, if he could have got himself to the top and then accelerated over the top, he wouldn't lose that few seconds he's just lost by getting out of the saddle just before the top. It's all about keeping yourself the momentum, not losing, shaving off any speed. Twizera continues, wearing number 61, the first rider to go for Rwanda. Our next rider to go is Jakub Marolds from the Slovenian squads. And the start of the Slovenian rider, Jakub Marolds, number 51. And once we get towards the end of this field, there are some extremely fast bike riders. Still consistent, still riding strongly. 16.5 kilometers to go. Our next split will be after 19 kilometers of racing. That will be with 12.2 kilometers to go. So 4.1 kilometers remain until he gets to that intermediate split. Coming up to the main turn now. He's going to turn round and start to work his way back towards the race finish. Brilliant atmosphere on that corner. Very easy for the Rwandan riders to get a little bit carried away, not concentrate on their performance. Just by the amount of support there is, but you've really got to dial yourself in. As we heard earlier from riders, you've just got to go through the process, be contained in terms of what you are looking to do in every single race. Go through your rituals, go through the start, work out the best way to get the best performance out of yourself. This is the Campaign Against Genocide Museum. Such an important statue that stands outside it. Highlights how Rwanda's people, despite their profound loss, came together to forge the path towards peace, justice and a national healing. A very important educational platform, ensuring that the lessons of the past inspire the future generations. "15 kilometers to go for our first rider. Etienne Twizera. 23 minutes of riding have gone by and he's still riding consistently. Starting to rock and roll a little bit more, finding the gear a little bit tougher. This is our rider from Qatar. This is Aditya Prasetio from Qatar going up this climb now. A beautiful time trial bike. Spinning well. I don't think there's a lot of speed being carried right now though. But that is a beautiful setup of a bike, isn't it? Our next rider about to go. From Tanzania, Ahmed Said. Every single rider gets a start, don't they? That's the great thing about this whole nation and the way that they welcome people. So Ahmed Said finished third on a stage of the Zanzibar International Sports Festival. Aditya Prasetio right on the front of the saddle, just trying to get himself to the top of the climb. I think he's going to lose a significant amount of time on this Côte de Nyanza. He's doing 16 kilometers an hour pretty consistently without slowing down or speeding up. On to the descent now. Here in riders hitting well over 90 kilometers an hour on this descent. Well, this is where our first rider is, coming up towards the second split at 19 kilometers. Going through that first split, he's still the fastest rider. Malakwen is second for Kenya. He's 2 minutes and 13 down at that point. And Dumuyten of Mali is third place, 2 minutes 43.49 down. This is André Belianin, a neutral athlete. 20 years of age, getting underway then. He's finished third in the Summer Spartakiad of Youth, third in his national championship, the winner of the Ishkef's race back in June. He's got about 600 meters to go until he reaches the second intermediate split. This is Tekle Lemio. Going well at the moment for Ethiopia. Concentrating well on the effort in hand. Rides for Team Amani. If you've not come across Team Amani before, it's an interesting project.
They say they're unapologetically ambitious with an initiative that aims to incubate, nurture and develop athletes from the East African regions with a pedigree in distance running to transcend a different sport, the discipline of cycling. They've got 3 key pillars of focus: demonstrate performance, create racing opportunities at home and invest in the future. They've got some great partners as we look here at Etienne coming up towards the line to go through the second split. Going to go through there to set the standard, 40.7 kilometers an hour, so he's found a little bit more speed. So this Amani project, very important in African cycling, taking the best riders from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda and Ethiopia. And this rider here from Ethiopia, trying to compete in the biggest gravel and road races on the planet ultimately, and showcase what can be achieved where the hurdles of material and access to racing are removed. We've also mentioned the Black Mamba Development Squad earlier on today and during this race. And that's all part of this Team Amani setup. So an important part of African cycling, and doing everything they can to ensure that everybody has a little bit of a chance. They've also invested in the future in a high performance centre, the Amani House. That is in a little town at 2,400 metres of elevation, so they're able to ride at altitude. And that Amani House aims to hoist the flag of cycling by creating a space dedicated to performance and excellence. They've got some great partners. They've got Rafa, POC, Factor, SRAM, Wahoo, Physic, and they're always looking for more partners to just try and give the athletes from these particular African countries more opportunity to shine and actually achieve what is possible. Edward Nagunu has just gone off the ramp for Kenya. These initiatives that we're hearing about in African cycling, so important to just try and drive some sort of improvement much quicker by removing those barriers. And we see here in these races that there are riders who are just riding on old aluminium frames, and they haven't been able to get the access to some of the equipment that they could really do with, which would ultimately help improve their performance. You take a rider from being in a time trial like this on a road bike and put them on a time trial bike like this, immediately their performance changes. Immediately they're able to go quicker. Immediately they're able to slice through the air. So all these projects, the links of course with the World Cycling Centre for the UCI and others, just trying to find these athletes who can compete at the highest level. Because there's no doubt when we look at African nations, we think about long distance running. African nations are top of the world. There is no reason why there couldn't be an endurance athlete in cycling here in these African areas, whether it be Rwanda or Ethiopia or Uganda or wherever it might be, that can compete at the very, very highest level in terms of winning a Tour de France, winning a Giro d'Italia or something like that. We've already got in the men's elite ranks Biniam Girmay winning the green jersey of the Tour de France. That is an ultimate game changer. And as he said at that time, the door is now open. He wanted to make the door open for as many riders as possible. Inspiring the future. Here with these championships in Rwanda. It's a new fastest time at the first intermediate split for the People's Republic of China. Li Yu has gone through with a time of 16 minutes 11:87. Just only 11 seconds, 12 seconds faster than this rider from Rwanda. He needs to pick his line carefully through here. We already saw him have a little problem in one of the turns earlier on today, but he gets safely through there. Heading now towards the final intermediate split. He's fastest at the second one, of course, because he's the first rider through there. But with 4.6 kilometres of racing to go, he will make his way through the next split. This is Danilo Kozaris, riding for Ukraine. Kozura is about to go. 18 years of age. National time trial champion of Ukraine. 10th in the road race. Not had, of course, too many race days this season, unfortunately. And the last countdown for the Ukrainian rider. This is the fastest rider on the course right now. Li Yu of the People's Republic of China, going very, very well out on the course. Looks consistent, riding one of these incredible time trial bikes. Really big, wide stays on the back of this bike now. This rider, 20 years of age, rides for the China Antimentec cycling team. Just finished 9th in a Chinese race, China Jishi Xinkai Lake Cup. See how wide the forks are getting on these bikes now. Bit of a party going on in that particular area. So he's making his way down now towards the next intermediate split. He's 200 metres from there. He's going to go through there, set the time, and then make his way onto the cobbles for this final rise up towards the top of the climb. Shafik Magalu of Uganda about to get underway. Ugandan rider gets going, and as he gets going, I was just reminded a few moments ago as I was sitting here and thinking about this racing, thinking about Uganda itself. As we just go to the intermediate sprint, Maralt has gone through with the fastest time now, so he's overtaken Li Yu as the fastest rider out on the course, the Slovenian rider, so he looks like he's starting to pick up the tempo. So I was just thinking about Uganda itself and thinking about how it's linked so closely with cycling, and for many people might be an unusual way. But of course, Uganda was the home of Paul Sherwin, one of our colleagues who we sadly lost a few years ago, and is still so much missed. And Paul Sherwin lived in Uganda, and now his legacy is setting up the Paul Sherwin project. They're doing so much as Li Yu goes round that turn. Just trying to help the Karamojong local people build skills to participate in the local area. There's a vocational school there, and they're doing everything they can to try and help with the school there, which Paul Sherwin had been so much linked with and trying to help everybody out. The teachers' residence there, trying to help to grow student enrolment and attract great teachers, so they needed housing to live in the area. Ongoing, they're working on the water, the power and the landscaping. There's extreme weather and isolation in that particular area, so water and electricity aren't readily available. And they've already completed the Hoffman family mother and child residence, allowing young mothers to keep learning while they take care of their youngest child. There's also the hall there. And that hall is named after Paul Sherwin's co-commentator, Phil Liggett, helping to achieve Paul's dreams that he had for that particular area. So there's the Phil Liggett Hall, a multi-purpose hall to help the community with meals, assemblies, celebrations. And there's the Paul Sherwin Workshop. to offer life-changing opportunities to empower young women in that particular area. At the Tour de France, I had breakfast with Phil Liggett. It's always a pleasure, and Phil gave me a Paul Sherwin project cap that I wore during the Tour de France. And if you want to take a look at the Paul Sherwin project. He's sadly missed, but his legacy and what he did in Uganda lives on. And I don't think, until we went to his memorial service, that all of us except Phil realised just how much Paul Sherwin had contributed to his local area. That's what the fun of these World Championships is all about, that helper at the side of the road running alongside with a Rwandan flag. This rider is only 2 kilometres now from the finish. And while I was thinking about Uganda and Paul Sherwin, and we hear there about Phil Liggett, as we go back to the race start, our next rider's about to go. This, I think, is Ted Tosavi of Benin. Ted Tosavi about to get underway. The Benin rider gets going. As I was reading that information about Paul Sherwin out to you and just going through some of that detail
of what he's trying to do with the legacy of Paul Sherwin, Phil Liggett is very involved. The family of Paul Sherwin is involved. But of course, we talked about the rhinos a few moments ago, and Phil Liggett is so linked with helping rhinos and trying to make sure the rhinos don't disappear from Africa. The two of them lived in Africa, Phil Liggett in South Africa and Paul Sherwin in Uganda, and Phil is still pushing it all the time. Help the rhinos is what he always talks about. And I'm sure Phil isn't here, but he was in Rwanda a couple of weeks ago. He rode with the president, and he messaged me before this commentary, and I know he's looking forward to watching at home. But also, I'm sure Paul Sherwin would have absolutely loved to be here. He's almost reached the top of the cobbles. The Rwandan rider is going to set the standard for everyone else to chase this afternoon. Just to update you on the intermediate time splits, Marolt is the fastest rider for Slovenia. 15 minutes 56.59 at the first split. This rider is still fastest at 19 kilometres and 26.6. Comes up to the 1 kilometre to go point. Gets into the aero tuck. He'll just wind his way now to the bottom of this last drag up towards the finish. He's being urged along the road then. Such a massive crowd lining the actual run-in here to the finish. He's being brought home this afternoon. Etienne Twizere is almost there. He's got the race radio tucked down the front of that skin suit. Still looks good, still got some power in the legs. Manages to stay in the aero skis all the way to the top of the climb. Let's see what this time is going to be. The speakers urging him across the finish line. Etienne Twizere is going to be in the hot seat for Rwanda. Don't know for how long, but he's going to be there. Twizere reaches the top of the climb. fantastic performance. His average speed we'll take a look at. He's going to have dropped a little bit on the run-in. 42.9 kilometres an hour for today's course of over 31 kilometres. Twizeri sets the standard for everybody else to chase.
Please, let's cheer on all riders because they are all champions.
Li Yu goes through the second intermediate split for the People's Republic of China. New fastest time, 27 minutes 45.99. His average speed to that point, 41.057 kilometers an hour.
Fantastic. That's only possible at such a unique event as the 2025 UCI Road.
For these riders, this is a massive opportunity, a massive stage for them to ride on. Yakimaralt is rolling along nicely, the Slovenian silver medalist. Looks strong, certainly got a good style on that bike, really high risers on the front. Out the saddle now and then, just trying to keep the momentum going forward. Always difficult to keep that momentum, keep like feeling you're on top of the gear and it's not fighting you. Slovenian rider, we go back here to the rider from Benin. Ted Tosavi, third in the National Benin Road Race Championships, 20 years of age. He's had some good results. Rode the Tour of Cameroon this year, finished 13th in the youth classification. Started his season back in January at the Tour du Sahel in Benin. This is Oussama Mamouni riding for Algeria. Algerian squad are moving very quickly up the African Tour. There's so many different tours in cycling, the African Tour, the Europe Tour. So there's different opportunities for nations to try and work their way up the rankings. But the Algerians are certainly making a good move up the standings in the Africa Tour. So this is Ted Tosavi. The arrival then of Yakimaralt to this second intermediate split. Now he had an advantage of 13 seconds on Belianin at the first split and 15 seconds on Li Yu. Now the first intermediate split, it looks like he's going to have accelerated quite considerably, Yakimaralt. Let's see what his advantage is going to be, because he's coming up to that intermediate split. Any pedal rev now. There is our split with a Tissot watch. And he's going to come up to that point and he's going to have extended his lead. He's now 32 seconds ahead of the second place rider, Li Yu of the People's Republic of China. Ted Tosavi in those red shoes, spinning over nicely. Now get a little bit of respite. Just trying to keep the pace as high as possible. This is this magnificent Volcanoes National Park. Well, thanks very much for joining. I hope you're enjoying the coverage as we watch the early starters in this Under-23 Men's World Championship. If you'd like to be in touch, please feel free. At @McCroston is where you can get me on social media. Don't forget to follow at UCI_cycling. The last riders to go today, the top 20, they're the race favourites. But we're seeing how the early starters, who's going to stay in the hot seat for however long. It looks like Jaka Maralt, the Slovenian rider, might be the rider who ends up being in that hot seat for a fair amount of time this afternoon. He's not too far away from the third of our intermediate splits, and then we'll just see what sort of advantage you've got. Ted Tasavi working well on this climb, sitting right forward in the saddle, little accelerations now and then to keep on top of the gear. The Benin rider's been looked after this week by Jeremy Ford. Coming up to the top of the climb then is Kia Lotswe, or Botswana, reaches the top of the climb there at 12.1 kilometers from the finish. I'd be interested to find out whether the riders who don't have the aero bars and everything, whether they get on the start line and they believe they have a disadvantage, or whether they're just thinking, I'm at the World Championships, this is a big stage, I'm going to do the very best I can. I'm sure it's the latter, because riders don't tend to think about what things are going to cause them issues. They just try and do their very, very best. But definitely here, he's at a disadvantage because he can't go downhill the way that they are doing on their aero tuck positions. We've heard riders 90 to 100k an hour on this section. Riders going up to the right-hand side. He's now going to drop away, back down towards Kigali. Every now and then just has a little look down, checking the gears. Doing nearly 60k an hour on this particular section. When he gets to the bottom of this descent, it will really speed up. Our next rider is about to go. This looks like Nej Komach, the Slovenian rider, about to go. His countryman is doing very well out on the course. No real surprise that Slovenia have amazing skin suits and all of the added aerodynamics on that skin suit, as you would imagine. It's amazing what happens when you get 2 stars and a few others to add on. The amount of work that Roglic and Pogačar have assisted with in that country to bring it to the very, very top. And now they demand the very, very best. Pogačar maybe a little bit more than Roglic. Roglic tends to ride. Pogačar wants all the best equipment possible to go as fast as possible. Roglic is just talent, isn't he?
You lead with 32 seconds behind Marlot, and on position 3.
Let's just have a look at the intermediate splits. 10.6 kilometers. Maralt is the fastest through there. He's fastest at 19 kilometers. This rider's going well. Belianin, he's heading up towards the second intermediate split, and he's in the ballpark. He's close to Maralt. And he's coming up now to set his time. He was 13 seconds down at the first split. He was in second place and still holds that second place. So we'll see how Belianin does at this second intermediate time split. It looks like he might go through there in second place. Which he does. 26.5 seconds is his deficit. The third place rider at 32. This is Mansur Basembe, riding for the team of Kazakhstan. Bronze medalist in the Kazakhstan Championships. Nice crowd gathering here at the finish line. Few riders starting to approach the finish now. The rider from Mali is just about to finish. Diamutene finishes second fastest, 7 minutes down. So the Rwandan rider stays in the hot seat. Heading out over the water. Lake Kivu. It's one of the few large African lakes where it's completely safe to swim. There isn't a risk of hippos or crocodiles, so you can swim, kayak, boat and paddleboard in that part of the lake. Lovely boat rides, pivotal part of Rwanda's infrastructure.
No, is it?
Next rider is about to start. This is the Turkish rider, Ramazan Yilmaz. Yilmaz is underway. Here's Tekle Alameo coming up towards the finish line now, the Ethiopian rider. We've talked a little bit about him today.
And almost 1.5
Good little rise up there towards the finish. The fastest rider still in the hot seat from Rwanda. Second place the Kenyan Malakwen. He's 5.5 minutes down. So this rider looking to put himself into the second place. And it looks like that will be the situation. Alameo is going to be second overall in this individual time trial in the early stages. 41.7 kilometers an hour compared to 42.927 of the current leader.
Tekle Alameo rero akaba ari ku mwanya wa kabiri, akaba arushwa umunota umwe n'amasegonda 18.
Lovely slow motion shots of Tekle making his way towards the finish.
UCI cycling, yaba ari kuri X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, UCI.
Out on the course now with Andre Belianin. Concentration is high as he tries to keep the nose as high, as low as possible towards those hands. Riding on one of the Astana bikes. When I watch the riders coming across the line here at the finish, it's interesting to watch their reaction as they look at their time on the gantry above the road. Well, the Rwandan rider Bozere looks like he might be about to be beaten. A little smile on his face. Well, he's been in a hot seat. He's enjoyed his time there, but it looks like Li Yu of the People's Republic of China is going to beat the time of the current hot seat. And the arrival of the next leader. Li Yu is approaching the finish line now, rolling that bike all over the place, just trying to get the last little bit of speed out of it. He knows that when he reaches here, his respite can get into that aero tuck. Push for the finish. Li Yu is going to go into the hot seat as the fastest rider, 43.6 kilometers an hour.
56, best time for Yu Li, China. Yu Li, abagize ibihe byiza kurusha abandi kuko afite iminota 42 ndetse n'amasegonda 56 bivuze yuko rero Twizere Etienne atakiri ku ntebe ishyushye cyangwa se hot seat. Ubu ngubu bigiye kwicwa na
Nice shots, Li Yu.
Meilleur temps pour Yu Li, 42 minutes 56 secondes.
Andre Belianin coming up towards that intermediate split. Our next rider is about to go. Another Rwandan rider. This is Samuel Nyonkuru. Big reception for Nyonkuru. Listen to that. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Sounds like a football crowd.
Great rider, 22 years of age, just finished 6th in the Tour of Salala. He also won the Under-23 Time Trial Championship of Rwanda. A useful bike rider, 7th in the Hero Cycling Cup as well. This is our Turkish rider out on the course. Turkish rider going well. Li Yu will go into the hot seat. This is the finish of Jakub Marot of Slovenia.
See the green jersey? Yes, it is. That's the jersey of the Slovenian man who celebrated his birthday yesterday. Since yesterday, he is 20 years old, and now he's going for
This rider trying to put himself into the hot seat. He's ridden superbly so far. He's the fastest at all the splits.
He's going out of the cell.
Jakub Marot of Slovenia sprinting now for the finish line. It looks like he's going to eclipse the time of Li Yu. This is a fantastic performance by the Slovenian youngster. He's just going to be inside that minute. But he hasn't faltered at all on the cobbles on the way up to the top of this rise. Jakub Marot of Slovenia is going to set the standard that needs to be beaten now. Jakub Marot finishes fastest time into the hot seat, 44.3 kilometers an hour. That's impressive.
The best time.
Jakub Marot now takes the place of Li Yu, who I don't even think got there. Time for a fizzy drink, a bit of sugar, trying to recover as quick as possible.
After this competitive 31.2 kilometers.
We're out on the course now with Tural Israfilov of Azerbaijan. Only 18 years of age. The Azerbaijan junior champion in 2024 and also in 2023. Looks to be going well out on the course so far. Here's the current standings. Marolt leading, ahead of Li Yu. Twizera is in third, Alamea in fourth. There's the makeup of the top 9 riders in this individual time trial. Back to our BK Arena, and the South African rider is about to go. This is Joshua Dyke. Joshua Dyke out on the road now. Mohammed Aziz Dalai, one of the Team DSM's former bikes. Still very smooth and consistent the way he's riding right now. Keeping momentum going forward, spinning well, looks good. We're on this climb, 8.6 at the bottom, so it feels really hefty when you first come into the bottom of this climb. Then things get a little bit easier as you make your way up. In reality, though, 42 minutes for the winning time at the moment. Marolt making his way now to the hot seat. Take up position, see how long it lasts.
Slovenia, Maurot Azusa, Li Yu, manasimbra na kunyemerero.
The Jungve National Park. There's an amazing canopy walkway here. 60-metre high suspension bridge which gives you sweeping views across the forest. There's also in there a zip-line experience. You can soar through the treetops, and there's some amazing hiking routes such as the Sumo Waterfall Trail with powerful vistas and a really incredible bit of wildlife, orchids, ferns, bamboo groves. Pretty impressive. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So just to update on the various time splits, so it's Marolt at the first split from Bissum Bay. He's first at the second split ahead of Belianin. Then it's Marolt ahead of Li Yu at the third split, and he is ahead of Li Yu in the hot seat at the finish line. Our next rider coming to the next split, the immediate, this is intermediate 2. This is Chinpok Kam. Back to number 36 here, Mohammed Dalai. And to the starts of our next rider. Lawrence Leroux of Uganda rolls down the ramp, gets himself into this individual time trial. points in a row rides for this team Amani that we were talking about a little while ago. This is Andre Bellianin. He's ridden well. He's not going to be as fast as Yakima, but he's in with a chance here of taking some sort of position for at least a little while.
From Cameroon.
Andre Bellianin sprinting to the top of the climb now, trying to stay as aero as possible. Quite difficult when you are under this much pressure and you are suffering like this towards the top of this rise.
And over to the next rider is
Bellianin is almost there.
Andre Bellianin on his last 80 meters.
Nearly 1 minute behind now. He's kind of lost pace as the race has gone on. He finishes third fastest time so far. He went through the first split, only 6.9 seconds down. Second split, 26. Then he really lost time, 52.6 seconds. There's a few riders saying the end of this course really makes you blow up. You have real problems with it.
So let's have a look after 12 riders at the finish. Top 12.
12 riders have finished. 35 riders out of the 61 have taken to the course. This is our next rider about to go. This looks like William Piat of the team of Mauritius. Piat is underway. This is Ahmed Saeed. Ahmed Saeed sitting now down, trying to work his way up the cobbles. So difficult to keep this momentum going forward, isn't it? You can see just hits the cobbles a little bit. Here's the arrival of Bessam Bey, who is riding well now, and at the intermediate split 1, he's the second fastest. We're seeing how he does here at intermediate split number 2. Looks like he's going to be in the ballpark of the top rider so far. Yakima, the rider behind, not allowed to do that. That's Garamadine Alamarayam, the Ethiopian, not allowed to sit on the wheel like that. Under the rules, Kazakh rider is just going to ride away. Second fastest time. Well, the Ethiopian rider, I'm sure, is going to at least get the experience of what it's like to ride. Whoops. I don't think the wind is getting any stronger, but that was a little bit of a twitch. Next rider to go, Paul Fietzke of Germany. Himself going. And Paul Fietzke produced something this afternoon. This is Komac, the Slovenian rider, 20 minutes into his ride. Current situation, Maralt, Bessam Bey and Bellianin are the fastest riders on the course. Komac at nearly 70 kilometers an hour. Tiamoco Diallo finding these cobbles really tough. Looks like he might have ended up on one of the neutral service bikes, actually. So Shimano may have had to help him out on the course. He's riding on one of the blue Shimano neutral bikes. I wonder if he's had a problem. We saw him earlier on, he looked pretty strong, didn't he? And his position is certainly different on this bike to what it was. Much lower, isn't he? No doubt that this is hurting, it'll be hurting the knees. He just won't feel like he's got as much power as he did on his own bike. But at least he's been able to take a bike and try and finish. Tiamarco Diallo. Reaching the top of the cobbles. He'll be pleased when this is over. If he had a puncture or a crash or something like that, we haven't heard any major updates on him. But it just shows you the neutral service team out there, very, very important for these championships. Shimano been the partner of these World Championships for many years. They always have their team here, a team of mechanics, doing everything they can to try and help everybody. Right, now he'll start to feel like he's got a little bit more pace in the legs. Tiamarco Diallo, we're getting down to the last few riders to go. Still a wonderful atmosphere on all the climbs. Well, the Ukrainian rider firing his way up this rise, catches the Mali rider. Kozaris is going well. Back here in the starting area. This is Alessandro Borgo, rider for Italy. Well, the Italian rider gets out on the course now. One of his teammates is one of the favourites for this competition. Borgo, one of the Bahrain victorious development team. As Kozaritz reaches the 1 kilometre to go point now. Borgo has been a useful bike rider so far in his career, only 20 years of age. Has won the Young Gent-Wevelgem. He's also finished second on the stage of the Giro Next Generation, so a rider we should watch out for in this individual time trial. Finished second on that stage in the Giro d'Italia Next Generation into Aquaterma. Here's the arrival of Kozaris of the team of Ukraine.
Before we wait for
Starting to look pretty good. Can he just get himself to the finish line? Outside the time of Yakima Rolds. Rolds' average speed, 44.341. You've got to be really shifted to win this title now this afternoon.
Here we go, the last
Danilo Kozaris of Ukraine. Top of the climb now, gets out the saddle, last little bit of pain, pushes forward, tries to get himself to the line now to set the standard for himself. He's done well. The Mali rider is just behind him that he caught on the climb. Kozaris is going to be around about 2 minutes down. The arrival of Danilo Kozaris, 5th fastest time so far in this individual time trial. 15 riders have now finished, 40 riders have started out of the 61, 25 riders are still out on the course. So still in the hot seat, Giacomo Rolt. He is still sitting there as the leader of this individual time trial. Here's our current situation. Marolt with 42 minutes 13.10, an average speed 44.3. Li Yu in second, Andrei Belyanin in third. Jadian Neves, 19-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago. I had a little chat to him the other day. He was looking forward to riding this time trial. So let's see how Jadian Neves goes. Got the aero bars on his normal road bike, so at least he's able to get into that aero tuck. Here is Adam Gross. Hector Alvarez has just started. Adam Gross of Slovakia gets going now. 21. Where's number 21, Adam Gross?
abatararangiza ahangaha baracyari mu muhanda kuko hasigaye abakinnyi 20 bonyine bari bahaguruke muri PK Arena.
This is Gadulovic of Poland coming up to catch the rider who started 2 places in front of him. So he's catch Jadian Neves now. Goes straight past him as though he's standing still. Jadian Neves just has to concentrate on his job in hand. Already out on the course, Hector Alvarez of the Lidl Trek Future Racing Team. He just started a few moments ago. I think Gadulovic has just gone through the first split with the fastest time. So this rider is flying now, 42.5 kilometers an hour. He's faster than Marolt. Pasembe is still in third. Marolt is still leading at 19k and at 26.
But this rider, tall, powerful, looks good. See whether he can produce one of the fastest times this afternoon. At the moment, 21 years of age, has ridden for the Vendée team, their club team. Was with them for 2 years, the Vendée team. Maybe looking now for to be in a shop window for a possible contract with a bigger squad. He's ridden the Tour of Poland this year. He's ridden a number of different big races. Tour of Turkey he rode as well. So he's quite consistent in his performances. He's starting to get a little bit noticed. Comes from Warsaw as he just pushes himself back in the saddle a little bit. Very kind of dynamic style, trying to be as far forward in that saddle as he possibly can. This is Gadulovic at the second intermediate split now. Let's see how he does. He's going quick, isn't he? He's found even more speed. Well, this is a really impressive ride. This might be the surprise of the entire afternoon. Well, he goes through and he is absolutely shifting. Gudulovic, 44.6 kilometers an hour, 1 minute 40 seconds faster than any other rider. This is a little unexpected, and we just get an update here that Jarno Wiedaar didn't start, the Belgian rider. There was a little bit of a rumour overnight he wasn't going to start. This is Zach Marriage. Zach Marriage gets going, comes from Adelaide in Australia. He's been riding for Team Bridge Lane and then 7-Eleven Click, which is a Philippines team. Goes out of that situation, turns left, winner of the Tour of Benin in 2025, Zach Marriage. Rode the Tour of Britain recently, just ridden the Tour de l'Avenir as well, and rode the Tour of Portugal, where he finished 6th on a stage in Mondim de Basto. Winner of a stage of the Tour of Benin, stage number 6, he took that victory. So Zach Marriage, let's see how he does out here on the course. Just to bring you up to speed then, at the first 2 splits, Gudulovic leads. He hasn't reached the 3rd split there. Marault has taken the fastest time so far at 26.6 kilometres, and Marault is in the hot seat just opposite me on the stage. Zach Marriage settling down. Gudulovic is only 10 kilometres to go. He's picking up some speed, isn't he? Is this rider going to shock everyone this afternoon? There's no doubt he's on great form. You just see the way he's riding. Lovely style on the bike, spinning out, massive dinner plate on. This is Zach Marriage, we'll go back to him. He's into the early stages of this ride. He'll just be kind of calming down the body, getting himself relaxed, dealing with the pressure, dealing with the breathing, which will be hurting. As we go back to Mansour Bissambé. He's not going to be the fastest rider here, but he's the 2nd fastest at 26.6 kilometres, catching the rider in front of him. So it looks like Halim Mariam might be the rider just in front of him. As he sprints, gets out of the saddle, bit of acceleration. And it's the Ghana rider who he is catching. Also a rider who's way started in front of him, Emmanuel Sessi. So Mansour Bissambé. The last little dregs of energy coming out now. Bissambé is almost at the finish. The finish of the Kazakh rider Mansour Bissambé, 4th fastest time, great performance by him. Lost some time on the run-in.
The best experience was that
some riders are losing a fair amount of time in that 3rd and final phase.
So yeah.
Are you planning to come back just after the race?
Yeah, for sure.
You're most welcome every day.
Our next rider is on the start ramp. This looks like Jonas Walton of Canada. Jonas Walton is underway. That's for Project Echelon Racing. He's finished 3rd in the Chrono de Nation in his career in 2023. And that's a great time trial. 2nd in the Canadian Time Trial Championships. And Zach Marriage leans the bike over flat out through that turn. Starting to see some really high speeds in some of these corners now for these riders. Zach Marriage, that's the progression on the right-hand side as to where he's heading. Out to the tea plantations. Here's the current standings. Yakima leads 43.4 seconds ahead of Li Yu, with Belianin in third place. Zach Marriage leaning that bike into the right-hander. Looks strong, doesn't he, this afternoon? He's picking some speed up. Certainly not shifting off a lot of speed when he goes into these turns. He's obviously had a recon of this course carefully, because he seems to know the turns very, very well. It's all about knowing the contours, the turns, the twists that are in here. A bit of like a story ahead of you. You've just got to flick through the chapters. This is Usama Abdella Mamouni, sixth fastest time.
At this moment, position 6, 1:44.
Out on the course with Zach Marriage. Let's see what he's doing when he gets to the first of the intermediate splits. New second fastest time at the first intermediate split for Fitzke of Germany. Since the arrival of Joshua Dyke, the South African rider, riding up towards intermediate split number 2. See how he does when he gets there. He's a couple of minutes behind Gadulovic, who is riding an exceptional time trial so far. Josh Dyke goes through. 5th fastest time, very respectable time for the South African. This is Mohammed Al-Mutawi of the UAE. Now he's improving all the time. UAE, of course, will host the World Championships in a couple of years' time. Mutawi is riding for UAE Team Emirates Generation Z. He rode for the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club before. 21 years of age. Back here with Zach Marriage, 8.5 minutes into his ride. But Mohammed Al-Mutawi here in the top 15 riders in this individual time trial. He's had some wins this season. He won the Dauphin Classic. He's the national champion of the road race and the time trial, and the Asian champion, Under-23 as well. 6th on a stage of the Tour of Sharjah, which was an individual time trial. So a good rider, Mohammed Al-Mutawi. Born in Dubai. We'll see how he does on the course. So Gadulovic is the fastest rider at 10.6. Hector Alvarez has just gone through with the 2nd fastest time, 41.773 kilometers an hour. And Paul Fitzke's in 3rd place. We look at the BK Arena there on the left-hand side, and we've enjoyed being inside there during this couple of days of racing. Another South African rider starts, Pedri Kroos. Zach Marriage onto the climb. Pedri Kroos comes from Johannesburg. He's out on the course now. Zach Marriage sprinting up this climb. The time to beat at the top is 14 minutes 57.23. At the finish, it's Giacomo who still leads out of Lee Yu and Belianin of the neutral athletes team. Gadulovic leads all three splits. He's coming up towards the finish line now. Giacomo is second overall at two of the splits. Hector Alvarez is now making a bit of an advance out on the course. Zach Marriage continues with his advance on this particular course up the hill. 22.2 kilometers to go. He'll reach the split with 20.6 to go. The Argentinian rider, Mateo Caliman. Now, can he produce something here this afternoon? There's some people who say this is the rider. Pan American individual time trial champion, national time trial champion. Was disqualified from the Pan American Youth Games recently. Didn't finish the National Road Race Championships, but before that, 2 wins. This is Komatch coming to the finish now. His teammate is in the hot seat, Giacomo. Giacomo leads as his teammate finishes, and his time is going to be 9th fastest so far.
Right now, top 10, position 9 at the moment.
And this to thank all.
Here is the rider who has been setting some incredible rides along this course. Gadulovic may well surprise this entire field. He is absolutely flying. This rider was not on the names of anyone's list, but somehow he has produced one of the most exceptional performances. His average speed at the third split, 49.2 kilometers an hour. This rider is going to blitz the time of Giacomo by what, 2 minutes by the looks of things. Mateusz Gadulovic, this is an exceptional performance this afternoon. This Polish rider is about to be in the hot seat, and it could be for a long, long time. Mateusz Gadulovic, what a ride by this 21-year-old Pole. Smashes the time into the hot seat. Gadulovic leads for how long? This could be a long, long time in the hot seat. That's incredible. His average speed, 46.941 kilometers an hour. This is going to be a ride that's going to be hard to beat. Paul Fietske comes up to the second intermediate split. He's going to be nearly a minute down on Gadulovic. Just over a minute down by the looks of things. Paul Fietske, second fastest time. This is Zach Marriage coming up to that intermediate split.
We'll see how he's doing. Once he gets there, we'll be able to get an indication of how well this rider has ridden so far. We're only about 100 metres now from that split. You can see it just in front of him. And he'll go round the turn. Then for the first time in a while, he'll get some respite. The rider in front of him has just gone down the descent. Zach Marriage not on par with Gadulovic, but then nobody is. Zach Marriage comes up to the intermediate split now, goes through. 5th fastest time for Australia. Start of the next rider for Switzerland, Jan Huber. Jan Huber gets started. Mohamed Al-Motawi, Asian champion, UAE champion, tucked in, head right down as you can see. He's got a nice style, absolutely drilled on that bike. Look at the way he's set up. Riding on one of the UAE Team Emirates bikes as part of that Generation Z squad. There's no doubt at some point one of these UAE riders is going to produce a World Championship medal performance. I have no doubt about it. The reason why is the setup they now have in the UAE. It is beyond comprehension just how much investment this country has made in world cycling and how much they are trying to develop a rider or riders who can compete at the very highest level. You go to facilities they've got in Abu Dhabi and you will be blown away. Al-Motawi continues with this momentum. Let's see whether he has got the power up this climb, because that's where he will suffer. He's really shown great improvements recently, and he's starting to look good out here on the course. So just to update, Gadulovic is currently the fastest rider at every split and now in the hot seat at the finish line. Back to the start of the next rider. This is the German, Louis Liedatz. The top 10 riders now starting. Zach Marriage looking for a little bit more speed. This is the next Rwandan rider, Samuel Nyankuru.
Reka twakire mu kanya gatwero umunyarwanda Niyonkuru Samuel uri musesekara ahangaha nawe Niyonkuru Samuel.
Nyankuru comes to the end of this time trial. He'll have enjoyed the atmosphere, being cheered on by so many fans from Rwanda at the side of the roads.
Nyankuru is almost there. Nyankuru finishes now 5th fastest. That is a great performance by Nyankuru.
Volkswagen turabashimira cyane, dushimira cyane kandi the official suppliers Sisaka, Bralirwa, Musure Fan Zone zose za Bralirwa, Musure Expo Zone za Bralirwa, mukomeze kunongerwa.
This is Hector Alvarez. Alvarez coming up to the second intermediate split. He's gone through the first split with the second fastest time. Hector Alvarez of Spain reaches this point with what is going to be now the second fastest time. The Italian Borgo has gone through with the third fastest time to that point, 58 seconds down, so it's Gadulovic, Alvarez, Borgo. Amatawe, really low position on those side bars. No bar tape on them at all. So current situation at the first split, Gadulovic, Alvarez, and now Walton of Canada in third place. At the second split, Gadulovic, Alvarez and Borgo of Italy. At the third split, it's Gadulovic, Marolt and Dyke of South Africa. Here's the finish. Gadulovic, Marolt and Lee Yu is still in third place, but I think things are about to start to shuffle around a little bit. Spectacular performance by this Rwandan rider. Niankuru, fifth fastest so far in this individual time trial. Out on the course now with Callum Thornley, the British rider from Red Bull Bora-Hansgrohe Rookies. He's now moved for next season into the Red Bull Bora-Hansgrohe World Tour team. He's the British champion, stage winner in the Sibiu Cycling Tour. He's just finished 12th in the Tour de l'Avenir as well. He won the individual time trial under 23. He finished 10th in the Giro Next Generation. He was third in the individual time trial on day number 1 in that Giro Next Generation. A lot is hoped for him this afternoon. This is another medal contender, Lorenzo Finn. Lorenzo Finn gets underway.
Represents Germany at this year's Nationals. He won the bronze medal.
This is the arrival of Joshua Dyke of South Africa.
Joshua Dyke from South Africa.
Joshua Dyke, let's see what the time is going to be. He's well outside the time of Gadulovic, but he has had a good intermediate split along the way. Joshua Dyke of South Africa searching for the finish line. It arrives now. Third fastest time. Great ride by Joshua Dyke.
Position 3 right now. Right behind Maron. Let's have a look on the top 5. In the lead, Mateusz Gajdolovic.
Callum Thornley, well, he's being chased by Lorenzo Finn, who's also a member of Red Bull Bora-Hansgrohe Rookies. So they're on the same equipment. Gadulovic might be about to shock everybody, judging by the way that no one is getting anywhere close to his performance. Callum Thornley working well. Next rider to go will be the USA's Cole Kessler. Cole Kessler about to get started. He's got some good support here. Rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing Team. Do you think that might be family? 22 years of age, national under-23 time trial champion. He just rode the Tour de l'Avenir as well. This is Amatawe. Well, he's not in the ballpark at the top of the climb, and I thought that's why he might suffer. 18th fastest to that point. He's not enjoying the first pit of this particular rise. Back here, with our Australian rider. We've been following him all the time. Zach Marriage. At the moment, it's riders who we weren't expecting in the current medal situations. This is Seaman Simon of Ukraine. 5th fastest time, pushes a Rwandan down by 1 place.
I hope so. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone who showed up at the course today and cheered for us. It's really good to see so many people like it.
The British rider Callum Thornley, big gear on that bike, keeping the momentum forward. There's a lot of hope in the British team that he can give them something this afternoon. But he needs to find some speed to match Gudulovic. His average speed at that 3rd split, 49.2 kilometres an hour. Borgo's gone through there with the 2nd fastest time, 47.884 kilometres an hour. So things may well be about to shuffle around a little bit. Callum Thornley, though, looks strong, doesn't he? Every pedal rev is very specific, the way he just keeps those pedals rolled over. Every bit of equipment is perfect, the number tucked in that pocket. Head just below the shoulders. Zach Marriage seems to be struggling a little bit now. Zach Marriage come out to the intermediate point 2. That was a nice shot of that intermediate split point 2. You've not really seen the sort of back view of that for a little while. It gives you an idea of just how tough this climb is. Zach Marriage is losing time. The time of Gudulovic is still standing. Is it going to go all afternoon? Zach Marriage at the split point, 6th fastest time for the Australian. The race can still be won on that final rise. This is the French rider, Decomble. This is Maxime Decomble of France. More smiles from him. There is a little bit of chat about whether this rider could be the rider to beat if he produces a big performance. Rides for Groupama, their continental team, but he will remove to Groupama FDJ for next year. 2nd on a stage of Au Grand Camino, 2nd on general classification in the Alpe d'Huez Tour, 5th in the Tour de l'Avenir. He's a very useful bike rider, 20 years of age, the Frenchman. Back with Callum Thornley. Only 4 more riders left to start. Thornley trying to keep the nose right down. Paul Feedsker comes up to the finish line. He's been setting some good times out on the course.
So we are ready for the next riders at the finish line.
It looks like this last rise has taken it out of him. Gudulovic still leads and will still lead after this performance. Paul Feedsker arrives at the finish.
Lawrence Duano at the finish and right behind him from Germany, Paul Fitzke.
So Fitzke is nearly there.
Paul Fitzke aus Deutschland auf den letzten 150 Metern. No danger for the time.
Paul Fitzke reaches the top of the climb. Let's see what the time is going to be for Paul Feedsker as he arrives at the finish. Feedsker, 2nd fastest time.
1 minute 29 back. 1 Minute 29 zurück.
This is Jonas Walton coming up to the intermediate split 2. This is a good performance by Jonas Walton.
So Jonas Walton reaches that point with what's going to be the second fastest time, the Canadian going well. We've got a new fastest time at the first split by one of the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies, Nate Pringle, the New Zealander, who's gone through there with the fastest time, 8.47 seconds faster than Gadulovic, 42.9 kilometres an hour. Nate Pringle from New Zealand going really well this afternoon. This is Matteo Kalaman. Alvarez at split number 1 is the third fastest. He's just gone through the third split with the second fastest time. Callum Thornley, well, some of his trade teammates are producing big rides today. Nate Pringle, the fastest rider. Thornley, you can see through that skin suit, the body working, the lungs filling up. The work rate is high from the British rider. Every single pedal rev is power. Look at the way he stamps his way through the pedal stroke. Callum Thornley is nearly at this first split. Then we'll get an idea of whether Gadulovic, Pringle and others are going to be challenged by some of these later riders. Lake Kivu, beautiful and breathtaking scenery.
I would like to inform all UCI fans, if you are here, the fans on Cambodia has got you covered, whether it's paying for a drink.
Alessandro Borgo of Italy.
Just ask for it.
Chasing the time of Gadulovic, not going to happen. Third fastest at the 26.6 kilometre split. Borgo's ridden well up that last part of the climb. Alessandro Borgo of Italy. Time Gadulovic will stand. He will stay in a hot seat this afternoon, but Borgo looking to put himself in the podium positions. Alessandro Borgo reaches a line now, second fastest time. That's a good performance. Pushes Fitska down into third.
45 seconds behind Gadulovic.
Borgo akaba ari ku mwanya wa kabiri w'umutaliyani rero asigwaho amasegonda 45 n'umukinnyi wa mbere ucikiye ku ntebe ishyushye. Dufite undi uje amashyi kwakira William.
A hard performance there. Borgo just needs to lie down.
William. Congratulations.
At the end of these terrible, really hard courses, your body just wants you to lie down. The arrival of Hector Alvarez, the Spanish rider, kicking his way up this final rise. He's chasing the time of Gadulovic. He's been there or thereabouts, 15 seconds outside at the split at 26.6. Alvarez is chasing the time of Gadulovic. He can see the gantry now and he starts to sprint. Has he got enough time in hand? It doesn't look like it. Gadulovic is starting to worry in the hot seat. Fingers crossed. Hector Alvarez, is he going to make it? He's almost there now. He's got this final turn. Nope, it goes red. And a big, deep breath by Gadulovic. Hector Alvarez reaches the finish line now. Looks like this is going to be the second fastest time for Spain.
Position, 11 seconds back.
Hector Alvarez, second fastest, 46.7 kilometers an hour.
Mateus and
Impressive performance by the Spaniards.
sits on the second place.
And now everyone knows why this seat is called hot seat. It's really hot just to sitting there and watch the competitors. And moments like
Here's the situation at the finish. Gadulovic, Alvarez and Borgo are the current medalists. Poland, Spain, Italy.
and wait.
Still a lot of riders out on the course though. 20 riders are still on the track. Here's the New Zealander who is setting some incredible times. Nate Pringle. Looking good. Just spinning his way along. But so far, he is the fastest rider on the course. We're watching him now head towards the 19-kilometre split, the second split of the day. He'll reach there in 2.4 kilometres. He's now on the climb. So we've just heard that at the first time split, Callum Thornley has gone through with the third fastest time, 10.15 seconds down on Nate Pringle. As we go back to the start of the final rider, Jakob Söderqvist, the favourite for this individual time trial this afternoon. The Swedish rider about to be the final rider to take to the starts. 60 riders have started. Söderqvist goes. Just before him was Hamish Mackenzie. Jonathan Vervenne was the Belgian rider who started third from last. Mateusz Schwarzbacher of Slovakia is also out on the course now. Nate Pringle is the fastest rider to the first split, 42.9 kilometres an hour. This New Zealander is looking really strong.
Wasn't really held up as one of the favourites. We know that he's riding for that Red Bull squad. But so far, this rider is looking like he's on one of the best days of his cycling career so far. Nate Pringle of New Zealand, now and then just adjusting that helmet a little bit. Looking across, just trying to stay as aero as he possibly can. It looks like it's all momentum and cadence, doesn't it? That's how he seems to be just producing right now, this sort of performance. In the stealth black of New Zealand, always one of the favourite kits in these World Championships. Look at that momentum, look at every pedal stroke, the way he's kicking it over. Making short work of this course so far this afternoon. Nate Pringle continues.
Well, the Canadian rider, Walton, has just gone through the 26.6 split with the fastest time so far, 49.234 kilometres an hour. So the Canadian Walton has just been accelerating all the way through this ride. He was 13 seconds behind at the 19-kilometre point. Now he has just overtaken Gadulevic's time by 0.16 of a second. Nate Pringle watching the riders on the other side of the course. He is in the climb and he is catching the rider in front of him, which would be the Argentinian rider, Matteo Kellerman, who many thought might be a bit of a surprise this afternoon. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, because Nate Pringle is going to catch him and go past. Just checking to see who that rider is, just up ahead, and it is the Argentinian rider. Nate Pringle is clearly just on the most magnificent performance of his career, and he's coming up towards this second intermediate split. We thought Gadulevic's ride might be the shock of the afternoon, but Nate Pringle may well be about to deliver another one. Just needs to keep that momentum going, not get carried away that a rider is in front of him, just draw him in bit by bit. Not try and sprint to catch him. Just keep the pedaling going, keep that momentum, keep the cadence. He goes through now, the fastest time at the second split. 44.976. 12.79 seconds faster than Gadulevic. This is some performance by Nate Pringle. This is Lorenzo Finn, the rider who you may remember from last year's World Championships. In Zurich, he won the junior road race. He just rode away. Comes from Genoa in Italy. His mum's Italian, his dad is British. He looks great again this afternoon. He's gone through with the 4th fastest time at the first split. 15 seconds down from Pringle. 42.195 kilometers an hour. He rides for the same team as Nate Pringle, the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. Head right down, trying to get as much speed as possible out of that bike. Nate Pringle chasing all the time the Argentinian rider in front of him. Pringle started as the 12th from last rider. .82 kilometers an hour for this young rider. Leans the bike in to that right-hand turn, carrying a lot of speed. There are just days when the bike feels like it is part of you. Today is one of those days for this New Zealander. He's a national champion of New Zealand at Under-23. He won that on the 6th of February. This year he's ridden a lot of races. He won the youth classification in a Sibiu Tour. But this is the performance of his career so far. Lorenzo Finn comes round the turn. Sprints his way out. It's all going to be about the second split now, where we need to have a look and see how everyone's doing. This is Zach Marriage. Not been his day. Zach Marriage coming up to the line now. Not too far behind him is Jonas Walton, the Canadian. Zach Marriage stops the clock now with the 6th fastest time. Finally, Nate Pringle goes past the Argentinian, picks him up. The Argentinian rider will have to drop behind by 10 meters. These two racing each other down this descent. That's going to help Nate Pringle a little bit to go even quicker. Looks for the left-hand side of the road to go as quick as he can to the finish line. The speed is immense from this New Zealander. Well, 10.6 kilometers. We just heard that the Maxime de Combe has gone through with the fastest time. Here's the arrival now of Jonas Walton at the finish, the Canadian rider, chasing the time of Gudulovic. This has been a fantastic performance by Jonas Walton today. Can he now get to the finish and put himself in a hot seat and give Canada a chance of a medal this afternoon? Jonas Walton sprinting his way for the line. He's almost there now. He's dying a little bit. Gudulovic is starting to worry. He thinks it's game over. Jonas Walton of Canada. Time is kicking down now. Can he get there? Can he reach the line and go into the hot seat for Canada this afternoon? He's almost there. It's going to be a matter of a number of seconds here. Gudulovic is still in the hot seat. It's going to be close. Very, very close. In fact, as close as that. 1.47 seconds. He goes into the hot seats.
The champion from Canada,
Jonas Walton is now the leader of this Under-23 time trial.
4.7 seconds. Wow.
It doesn't get much closer than that, does it? We are getting set for some finish.
Wow.
Here's confirmation of the current standings. Jonas Walton of Canada, 1.47 seconds ahead of Gudulovic, with Hector Alvarez in 3rd place. But we know that Maxime de Comble of France is out on the course. He is the fastest rider at the first split by 2 seconds from Nate Pringle in second place. Pringle's gone through the second split with the fastest time. Walton was the fastest at 26.6, but Nate Pringle is yet to get there. He had 12.7 seconds advantage on Gadulovic at that second split. So there's still a lot of riding to come. Kalaman of Argentina refusing to drop back. He's coming back at Nate Pringle, and he really shouldn't go past. He will be told by the jury you need to drop back, and that's why you can hear the noises. Nate Pringle will get annoyed at this, and that's not going to help his cause. We need 4 more riders to reach that first split. And the Argentinian rider really shouldn't be riding like this, because Pringle might hit him. If he cuts across the road and doesn't realise he's there. Nate Pringle coming up to the third intermediate split. He's going to go through there with what is going to be the fastest time of the day so far. Pringle goes through 49.8 kilometres an hour. He's got a bit of a passenger, which is not good news. Kalaman really needs to drop back. That is the rules, and he has to adhere to them. Pringle, nearly 50k an hour to the third split. 49.809 kilometres an hour. This is Hamish Mackenzie. Hamish Mackenzie. He was the bronze medalist in 2023 for Australia. He's back here for another go. Yet again, there's the jury, and they are telling him you need to drop back 10 metres. You're not allowed to slipstream the rider that's caught you, and if he doesn't drop away, he may well get disqualified. Lorenzo Finn coming up to the second intermediate split. This rider, one of the youngest riders in the race. Lorenzo Finn is right on terms with his trade teammate, Nate Pringle. They are so close in time. Lorenzo Finn now reaches the second split. He's going to be a few seconds adrift. Finn goes through, second fastest time. Drops Gadulovic down into third. Here's the Frenchman. Hamish Mackenzie coming up towards this first intermediate split. That's the situation on the right-hand side. De Comble, Pringle, Gadulovic, Thornley and Finn. So De Comble, Thornley and Finn were the 3 riders that we thought might be medal contenders. Pringle and Gadulovic have surprised everybody. Great day for New Zealand if Pringle can put himself into the hot seat. He's riding away now from the Argentinian. He's got more pace in the legs. Kalaman refused to accept that he would not be able to stay on the wheel. This is the final climb. There's the statistics. 11% gradient at the bottom. The average 6.3. You get a little bit of respite as you go up. This race is starting to move to its conclusion now. Nate Pringle has... Oh, that hurt. Nate Pringle on the climb. Maxime de Comble of France comes from La Ciotat. He's a great rider, 20 years of age, really talented. 5th in the Tour de l'Avenir recently. That's the Tour of the future. You finish in the top 10 there, and you are going to be potentially one of the top pro bike riders. Haven't seen anything of Söderqvist yet, or Hamish Mackenzie. We've seen quickly. But here is the Swedish rider, Jakob Söderqvist, the favourite for today's race. Last year he was a silver medalist behind Ivan Romeo. Whether the course suits him or not is a different matter. He rides for Lidl Trek's development team. He was only 32 seconds behind Romeo in the championship last year. Coming up to this first split, and he may well be showing us exactly why he's the favourite. Söderqvist is reaching the first split, and he is going to be fastest by 23.9 seconds. That's an impressive ride. Confirmation of that first intermediate split. Söderqvist ahead of De Comble and Pringle. Then it's Gudulovic, Thornley and Finn. Those are the riders who are looking for the medals, I think, those top 6 at the moment. Söderqvist won a stage of the Tour of Denmark. He beat Alex Segaard into second, Mads Pedersen into third. Segaard, of course, was the silver medalist here twice in the Under-23 championship. He never won the gold medal. He was beaten by Lorenzo Milesi and Søren Berenskold. Söderqvist beat Mads Pedersen, Niklas Larsson, Johan Price Pedersen, who's a former gold medalist in the Under-23 World Championships. Berenskold was also in 6th place, former gold medalist in the World Championship Under-23s. So it just shows you his potential. The arrival then of Petri Kroos. The South African rider reaching the conclusion of this time trial.
He's coming closer and closer to the finish line.
Petri Kroos is nearly there. The South African rider reaches a conclusion of his time trial. He's just searching for the finish. 7th fastest time, very respectable performance. Maxime De Comble, nice smooth pedalling style, out the saddle, doesn't want to do that too much, just needs to do it to keep the momentum. Coming up now towards the second split, the fastest time there is 25 minutes 20.80 by Nate Pringle, and here is Pringle crunching his way towards the top of this climb. This is impressive. This rider has been the rider of the day so far. He's ridden flat out. Jonas Walton is watching him, sitting there in the hot seat. But it looks like Nate Pringle potentially is going to go into the hot seat now. He has ridden a superb race, flat out from the start. Still 3rd fastest at the first split, fastest at the second split, fastest at the 3rd split. And now Nate Pringle of New Zealand is going to put himself in with a shout of the medals this afternoon. Sprinting his way to the conclusion of what has been a very tough 31.2-kilometre time trial. The New Zealander gets some respite into the aero skis and drives his way for the finish line. Jonas Walton's time is going to be eclipsed. Nate Pringle of New Zealand is going to be the new fastest rider in this World Championship.
minutes, 28 seconds, 22 seconds faster than Walton.
A little bit of pain, a little bit of a smile on the face almost. He knows that this is probably the best ride of his career so far. That's some performance. De Comble has just gone through with the 2nd fastest time at the 2nd split. Here he is. This is the replay. Maxime De Comble has just gone through, 5 seconds down on Nate Pringle. This rider is aiming for the medals this afternoon. Callum Thornley's just gone through the 3rd split with the 2nd fastest time. He looks to be accelerating now, 49.5 49.357 kilometers an hour, but Lorenzo Finn has just gone quicker, pushing Thornley down into third place at the third split. These medals are going to be very, very close. Jakob Söderqvist turns around that corner, heads now towards this next split point, which he's got about, what, 7 minutes to reach there. The first split is Söderqvist, De Comble and Pringle. At the second split, it's Pringle, De Comble, Finn. At the third split, it's Pringle, Finn, Thornley. And at the finish, it's Pringle, who is in the hot seat. There's confirmation at the finish. Right now, the medals are going to New Zealand, Canada and Poland, but there are some fast-moving bike riders out on the course this afternoon. Sweden are looking good with Söderqvist. France are looking good with De Comble. Italy are looking good with Finn. Britain are looking good with Thornley. There's some riders are making moves. .97 kilometers an hour right now for this rider, going downhill towards the finish. This is the Frenchman, Maxime De Comble. 10 kilometers to go, hitting nearly 100 kilometers an hour as he makes his way back towards Kigali. This is impressive. Carrying straight line speed, moving like a missile. The speed is incredible. He's just got to keep his bike straight. Keeps the head down a little bit at that sort of tempo. Wow. I don't know how he can't look ahead. Taking every single risk possible to stay as fast as he can. Söderqvist going uphill. De Comble just looking down at the speed and the pedals turning over. Wow, he judges himself perfectly, doesn't he? Let's hope that his sports director tells him where this left-hander is. Jakob Söderqvist settling in, 40 kilometers an hour, keeping that momentum going, just churning that pedal over, nice and smooth. So we're waiting for the arrival now at the finish of Lorenzo Finn and Callum Thornley. Finn is looking good. This is the arrival of Huber.
And the road race, and now he is
not in the ballpark at all of Nate Pringle. He finishes with the 7th fastest time.
Right now, 7. Platz.
This is Verven. We haven't seen him at all. This is a good performance by the Belgian. Tucking himself in. Coming up to that second split now, and he's going to be close. Verven, the Belgian, 7th fastest time. This rider looks so smooth, doesn't he? He's the race favourite. It's so hard to deliver, though, when you're the race favourite. Everything has to go to plan. We saw in previous World Championships where Sagat was the favourite, and he didn't win in 23, and he didn't win in 22. He ended up with silver medals on both occasions. Brandon McNulty, such a great rider, finished bronze and silver. You look at the performance of Mikael Bjerg in this championship at Under-23, and he won it 3 years running. Louis Ledat, he's going to arrive now, and then we get set for the riders who are going to go for the medals, because laid out 6th fastest. Here is Callum Thornley. He's sprinted his way towards the top of this climb. Thornley now looking for the fastest time, but it looks like it's going to go past. Thornley may well be out of the medals here. Nate Pringle has produced the ride of the day, the shock ride. Callum Thornley is running out of roads. A round of applause by Nate Pringle, but it's not going to beat him. Thornley 2nd fastest.
With 7 seconds back.
I think that's going to miss a medal. Callum Thornley, 2nd fastest time by what, 7.95 seconds. Only 8 riders left to finish. One of them is this rider, Maxime de Comble. He's about to hit that 3rd split of the day. He's about 100 metres away from it. Then we'll get an idea of whether that 100k an hour downhill is giving him the fastest time. The answer is no. Nate Pringle is the rider who is still the fastest at the 3rd split. 7.19 seconds is the difference. Well, de Comble was faster than Nate Pringle at the 1st split, and 5 seconds slower at the 2nd. He's now 7 seconds slower. Here's the arrival, the favourite though. Soderquist comes up to the 2nd split. He's the favourite, and he is by far the fastest rider on this course. Can Soderquist now deliver? 30 seconds faster at the 2nd intermediate split. Sweden are in the ascendancy. The arrival now of the youngster from Italy, Lorenzo Finn. This is a spectacular performance. He sprinted his way up the final climb, chasing the time of Nate Pringle. Lorenzo Finn is 14 seconds from the finish line. Otherwise, Nate Pringle stays in the hot seat. Can this rider, who has been the Junior World Road Race champion, now go into the hot seat? It's going to be ever so close. Lorenzo Finn, no, it doesn't happen. Nate Pringle stays in the hot seat. 2nd fastest time for the Italian.
4 seconds back. So Pringle defends his leading position.
7 riders left to finish. Pringle is staying there. Here's the situation at the 2nd split. Soderquist, Pringle, de Comble and Finn. The current finish, Pringle of New Zealand leads, Finn of Italy in 2nd place, Thornley of Great Britain is in 3rd. This is Maxime de Comble, who's looking great out here on the course. Making his way onto the cobbles. Jonas Walton, who was the rider who was in the hot seat for a little while. The son of Brian Walton. We all remember him from 7-Eleven. Just a reminder, the Tour of Langkawi starts on Sunday, and Brian Walton was a stage winner there many years ago. And hello to Jeff, thank you very much. Maxime de Comble is the rider who is 2.1 kilometres from the finish line. This rider searching now for the possibility of a medal. He was a rider that people mentioned as one of the outsiders just by his recent performances. 2nd fastest at the 3rd split. Pringle, de Comble, Finn as the top 3 there. Can this New Zealander hold on for a medal this afternoon? You can hear that bike just rumbling its way over the cobbles. Nate Pringle currently in that hot seat, grew up riding BMX in New Zealand. He's on that rookie squad with so many of these top riders now. Can he stay there in these medals this afternoon? This is Cole Kessler from the United States of America.
And the day is done. And position is 7 right now on the result list.
Perfectly. Pringle grew up riding for the Oxford Edge cycling team in New Zealand. Right now, I'm sure the New Zealand fans are on the edge of their seats. They know that Soderquist is going extremely fast. In the build-up to this race, everyone has mentioned that this is the rider. Nate Pringle on the right-hand side, watching intently.
Fantastic job. And now he just can sit.
I don't know if he can take too much more of this. All the fans are in front of him, just watching him as he just sits there sweating and wondering whether he's going to win here in Kigali. Because he rode the final climb superbly. 1 kilometre to go for De Comble, who was second at the third split, 7.19 seconds down. Can he have found a little bit more speed? Can he unseat the New Zealander? Nate Pringle is sitting there and he's about to see the arrival of this next rider. This is Adria Purikas, who's going to be outside the time as well. Only 5 riders remain after this one.
So first of all, focus on.
It's going to be all about De Comble and about Soderquist now for the medals. The finish is Pringle, Finn, Thornley, Maxime De Comble. Look at him. Looking now for the finish line. Look at the pain etched on this rider's face. He knows he's got to give this everything if he wants to win the gold medal for France this afternoon. Has he managed to find more speed than Soderquist will find up this final mountain climb to the finish? Nate Pringle is watching. The time is running down. Pringle has a little smile on his face because he may well still hold on. This is going to be very, very close. Maxime De Comble sprinting for all he is worth. The time is counting down. Nate Pringle is still in the hot seat. He might. Is he going to do it? Wow! 0.17 of a second. I can't believe it. De Comble is just outside the New Zealanders' time.
And second place.
Nate Pringle could be about to launch the biggest shock of these World Championships after yesterday's shock.
Our official timekeeper, you can see only 0.17 seconds.
4 riders remain. This is the current situation at the third split. Soderquist has gone through 33 seconds faster than Nate Pringle of New Zealand. Maxime De Comble of France in third. Right now, it's Pringle, De Comble and Finn who are the top 3 riders at the finish line. Soderquist pedalling flat out right now. New Zealand have never won this world title, neither have Sweden. New Zealand have got 1 bronze medal. Sweden have 1 silver medal. That's it. They've never won the title in the under-23 classification. There's a bit of a click going on with Jakob Soderquist's bike. You don't get any closer than that. 0.17 between the top 2 riders now. 47.425. Nate Pringle has ridden this final climb exceptionally. He's held speed all the way through. So it's New Zealand in gold, France in silver, Italy in bronze. .4 kilometres to go. Soderquist is at 33 minutes. He needs to get to the top in 39.28. Time to rumble his way over the cobbles. He'll make small work of this, I'm sure. He's a powerful rider who won't mind a cobbled section. Pulling himself right forward. This rider, 22 years of age. He'll move to Lidl Trek for next season. He's signed a 2-year contract with that squad. Already a stage winner in the Tour of Denmark, as we mentioned. A stage winner in the Giro Next Generation. Stage winner in Tour de Loire-Cher. Stage winner in the Tour of Britannia. Second overall in the European Championship. He's already won a silver medal here in the Under-23 World Championships behind Ivan Romeo. This rider is set for a big career. Matthias Schwarzbacher arrives here for Slovakia, number 4. He's 11th fastest, 46 kilometers an hour. Who's going to miss out on a medal? Soderquist continues with this momentum towards the top, 34 minutes. Comes up to 35. He's got 4.5 minutes to reach the finish line. He's got 1.9 kilometers to go. Now, in normal circumstances on the flat, you'd just say, yep, he's done it. But right now, you never know on this final climb because it's brutal. We've not seen much of Hamish Mackenzie this afternoon, the Australian who's been a bronze medalist before. Kind of fallen away. He's 10th fastest through the third split.
Of course, he not only has to
Soderquist back into the aero skis. Here's the arrival of Verven, the Belgian rider, Jonathan Verven. He's going to be outside the time of the top 3.
Jonathan Verven, Belgium champion.
Into that aero tuck. Sprints for all he is worth. It's going to be a top 10 place, 7th overall.
29 seconds only off his top 10 right now.
Well, this championship held since 1996. The only person from Sweden who has finished with a medal is the rider we're looking at last year. Can he get them the gold medal now? There's a rider in front of him. Hamish Mackenzie is just up the road. That's how fast Soderquist is going. Nate Pringle has been the rider of the day. The cars pull over, out of the way. Soderquist now has got the top of the climb. He reaches 37 minutes at 1K to go. It should be okay, but he's got to keep the pressure on. It's not over yet. The Swedish rider looking to deliver a gold medal here in these World Championships. Just in front of him is Hamish Mackenzie, not too far away. He's getting set for this final power climb. .500 meters to go. Surely this is going to be gold for the Swede. You just never know, though, because this final rise really kills the legs. Pringle's time, 39.28.39. He's still in the hot seat. No doubt he's going to get a medal for New Zealand. But is this going to be the fastest time of the day? Let's take a little look. Here's Hamish Mackenzie, who is just arriving in front of him. We'll give you an idea of the time. Mackenzie's going to be outside the top places. He's going to be 9th fastest, but just behind the fast-moving Swedish rider. Söderqvist is going to power his way to the finish. There's no doubt. Söderqvist is the world champion. Blitz is the time of Pringle. It is gold for Sweden. An exceptional performance by the favourite. Almost does a skid.
There is one rider.
So Söderqvist takes the gold. Stunning, stunning performance. Söderqvist wins for Sweden. Nate Pringle takes the silver for New Zealand. He is the surprise package of the day. And Maxime de Comble of France takes the bronze. A stunning performance by Jakob Söderqvist. What a ride. The margin of victory was large. Here's confirmation of the result then. Söderqvist wins by 1 minute and 3 seconds. Nate Pringle in second for New Zealand. Maxime de Comble of France in third place. There's the makeup of the top 10. While we get ready for the victory ceremony. Time to recover. We'll look out over Kigali as everybody gets ready for this presentation.
reka mbasabe twese twegere imbere ya stage kugira ngo dukurikirane umuhango wo gutanga ibihembo. Abari inyuma ni karibu twegere imbere kugira ngo dukurikirane umuhango wo gutanga ibihembo kubitwaye neza muri individual time trial men under 23.
Jakob Söderqvist then getting himself ready for his interview and just recovering for a moment. The celebration. Top rider in the world. It's going to be interesting to hear from him. Söderqvist walking there, the walk of a winner.
Super. Nice to see you, Steve.
He walks with a swagger of a 100-meter runner, doesn't he? Here's the result of the men's under-23 individual time trial. Sweden have a gold medalist in Jakob Söderqvist. Second to New Zealand with Nate Pringle. Maxime de Combe of France takes the bronze medal. Behind them, Lorenzo Finn and Callum Thornley. Then it was Jonas Walton, a Canadian, a great performance in 6th place. While we wait to hear from our new world champion. All celebrations out here on the roads. What a performance by the New Zealander Nate Pringle. There's just days when everything comes together. Today was one of those. Maxime de Combe, what a ride by him. You can see the urgency on his face as he tries to get to the finish line in time. So we just wait for everyone to be prepared. In a few moments we'll have the interview with Jakob Söderqvist. Tomorrow we'll have the junior races. Hope you've enjoyed today's coverage. Individual time trials tomorrow for the women juniors and the men juniors in the afternoon. The women will ride 18.3 kilometres, the men will ride 22.6. Here's
last year
Jakob
of the
Söderqvist.
Under-23 time trial. How difficult was it to go one step higher and to win that title?
I think I emptied myself to an equal amount, but no, the preparations before this one has been extra everything, because as soon as I finished second last year, the goal was ready for the next year. So I'm in last year U23, and it was one thing to tick off that I surely want to have into my career, and this was the one thing in the U23 category that I cared about the most. So it was preparations all the way around just to make this one as good as possible, and I had a good feeling coming into it, and really happy with how I handled the situation.
You were the favourites, so there was, I suppose, quite a lot of pressure on your shoulders.
For sure. Yeah, it's a challenge that I really like to handle well, because I think into a career, handling pressure is a key success factor, and for sure I want to win some of the biggest races at one point, and at that point you just got to be the best at handling pressure.
And you had to handle the course, super difficult, with ups, downs, high speeds, cobbles.
Yeah, for sure. It was not the easiest one to pace, but I knew what I was gonna do, and I know I can depend on my feeling. Like I know that I am a TT specialist, and it's the pacing that makes it. So I just trusted myself and trusted my feeling, and I just know what to do, what to make out of it.
A lot of people want to congratulate you.
Good to see you, dog. Good job, bro. Thank you.
Well, congratulations. Thank you very much, Jacob. Enjoy the podium.
Thank you.
He wants to win the biggest bike races in the world. He's got some big goals. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it, because he's very confident in his ability, and he was confident in the way he rode, and his feeling today. Just remember, when you see these riders who win these gold medals, let's just go through the recent winners. Ivan Romeo, stage winner in the Dauphiné recently, just rode the Tour de France. Søren Varenskjold, now one of the fastest sprinters. Johan Pryce-Peterson, Mikael Bjerg, one of the best domestiques in the world. You go through Damien Howson, just finished and helped Tom Pidcock finish third in La Vuelta. Luke Durbridge, what can you say about him? Taylor Finney, who had an amazing career. Lars Boom, who's now one of the best sports directors in women's cycling and was one of the best cyclocross riders in the world. Yanni Brakovic, Torzhov. The names go on as winners of this title. We're almost ready for the presentation. All the Swedes are ready for this presentation. The music starts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the award ceremony of the 2025 UCI Road World Championships in Kigali. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde route UCI 2025 à Kigali.
Ikaze kuri mwese muteraniye hano, ikaze kuri mwese mudukurikiye, tubaha ikaze mu birori byo gutanga ibihembo ku bakinnyi bitwaye neza muri shampiyona y'isi y'amagare y'ibihumbi 2025 UCI Road World Championships iri gukinirwa aha i Kigali.
Awards ceremony of the 2025 UCI Road World Championships Men Under-23 Individual Time Trial. Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde route UCI 2025 contre la montre individuelle homme moins de 23 ans.
Muri uyu mwanya rero bagiye guhembwa abatsinze muri shampiyona y'isi y'amagare y'ibihumbi 2025 mu bagabo bari munsi y'imyaka 23 mu cyiciro cya individual time trial ITT.
The medals and jersey will be presented by Dato Amarjit Singh Gill, UCI Management Committee member. Les médailles et le maillot seront remis par Dato Amarjit Singh Gill, membre du comité directeur de l'UCI.
Imidari n'imyambaro igenerwa abatsinze igiye gutangwa na Dato Amarjit Singh Gill, umwe mu bagize komite nyobozi ya UCI.
In third place and winner of the bronze medal representing France. À la troisième place, vainqueur de la médaille de bronze représentant la France.
umwanya wa gatatu n'umudari w'umuringa byegukanywe n'umukinnyi ukinira Ubufaransa
Maxime Decomble.
France have the bronze medal. Great performance by Maxime Decomble.
In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing New Zealand. À la deuxième place, c'est vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, représentant Nouvelle-Zélande.
Ku mwanya wa kabiri n'umudari wa feza byegukanywe n'umukinnyi ukinira New Zealand
Nate Pringle.
Nate Pringle, what a performance by this New Zealander.
And in first place, UCI World Champion and winner of the gold medal, representing Sweden. À la première place, champion du monde UCI et gagnant de la médaille d'or représentant la Suède.
shampiyona y'isi yo gusiganwa ku magare n'umudari wa zahabu yegukanywe n'umukinnyi ukinira Suwede ariwe
Jakob Söderqvist.
The world champion, Jakob Söderqvist.
And now we ask you to step on the podium. This is your stage. Enjoy that. And now the gifts will be presented by Mr. Conde Bugino, Managing Director at Euro Insurance. Les cadences seront remises par Monsieur Conde Bugino, Directeur Général chez Euro Insurance.
impano zigiye gutangwa na bwana Konde Bugingo umuyobozi mukuru wa MUA Insurance.
The Tissot watch will be presented by Dato Amarchit Singh Gill, UCI Management Committee member. La montre Tissot sera présentée par Dato Amarchit Singh Gill, membre du comité directeur de l'UCI.
impano y'isaha ikorwa n'uruganda Tissot igiye gutangwa na Dato Amarchit Singh Gill umwe mu bagize komite nyobozi ya UCI.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our new UCI World Champion, represent the national anthem of Sweden. Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouveau champion du monde UCI, nous vous présentons le national de la Suède.
mudufasha nanone gushimira uwegukanye shampiyona y'isi y'amagare no gukomeza kumuha icyubahiro twese duhaguruke mu gihe yaririmbwa indirimbo yubahiriza igihugu cye cya Suwede.
Messi.
Jakob
Ladies and gentlemen,
Söderqvist.
now please one more time, your applause for our medalists. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés.
murakoze cyane twongera dushimire abegukanye muri iri rushanwa ryo mu byiciro bitandukanye aribo
Congratulations to Jakob Söderqvist, Nate Pringle, and Maxime de Comble.
There's our medalists. What a performance from Söderqvist, but what a race we had, counting down to the finish. Celebrations from these three. New Zealand have a silver medalist. Fantastic racing today here in Kigali. We've enjoyed two great races. He's going to now sign some of the rainbow jerseys.
UCI World Road Championship hazakinwa andi masiganwa abiri mu gitondo tuzakina Women Juniors bazakina metero 18 na metero 3 Women Juniors muri abangavu mu rero ingimbi izakina metero 22 na metero 3 ku munsi w'ejo muhamagara inshuti muhamagara abavandimwe ejo tuzahuranga kuri KCC roundabout kugira ngo dukine andi masiganwa abiri muri Women Juniors na Men Juniors ejo.
We're going to get ready for the junior racing tomorrow.
We have two more races. Women juniors will cover 18.3 kilometers and men juniors will cover 22.6 kilometers all the way from BK Arena once again to the finish line here at
The last of our individual time trials tomorrow before we moved on to the mixed relay the following day. Then it's into the road races.
Jacob, you have it. It's on your shoulders, that World Champions jersey. What does it represent for you?
Well, big question, but it represents like everyone taking part and the journey getting to here. Like, I think every achievement is just really something to attach as a memory to for everything that's led up to it, or everybody taking part, everybody helping out, and everybody contributing. And it's for sure a lot of people around me that helps me getting here, in my best shape, and helps to bringing my best mood and my best performance on the day. So I think it just represents all of this for me.
And today everything went perfectly?
I think I made 99% of everything I could. Like, I don't focus too much if it could have been better or worse. I just focus on what I think I could have done better with what I had, and I think I did absolutely the most with what I had today, and I'm super proud of it.
This is a first step to even bigger things.
For sure. I for sure look forward to the rest of my career, and I look forward to the next step as I'm stepping out of the U23 now and heading into a further career of joyful memories like these, hopefully. So we are still working towards it in the right pace, and this for sure brings some confidence into the next year.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jacob. Congrats.
A wonderful performance and a great interview. We enjoyed today's race. Jakob Söderqvist wins ahead of Nate Pringle and Maxime de Combles. I've just been told New Zealand have only got 4 riders for the full week. They're doing well. We're going to leave you with the sights and sounds of Kigali. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the junior time trials. From me, Anthony McCrossan, it's been a pleasure. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Somebody, fo sika fo ite ala Mali teleso bado wa u yero belajele fana be akalamo ka fo ambe 22 kalola wa biire de fana 22 Mali ya yereta ankera anyereta ni asambi woro ani sanduruye.
Aujourd'hui donc, Beka, c'est un jour de commémoration. Le 22 septembre 2025, on va dire, sera célébré avec éclat, avec faste, retenez le mot que vous voulez. La fête va mobiliser donc dans les heures qui viennent sur le boulevard de l'Indépendance toutes les autorités de la République sous la conduite du président de la transition, chef de l'État. Les autorités qui ont donc décidé de célébrer avec éclat cette édition du 22 septembre avec au cœur de la célébration les forces armées maliennes. Le clou de l'événement sera bien évidemment un imposant défilé militaire et civil, mais avant, il y aura forcément l'hommage aux héros de l'indépendance à travers un dépôt de gerbes de fleurs.
Nala sonama inafo belajele a jatemine ka fo kabi 22 kalo njora fo kana se ambe bisoma dai na mimo jamana nyema o krengranyana jamana fama ni o yekotigi ale yere de ye angania ka nyini ka do ka fo jamana de beka aba line ko nana ka fo ko nyina 22 ni obebe anga sambi woro ani sanduru mo kako kana ke plonye akake gindambaye akake nyeneje baye jamana de belajele bi ire ye akono chukumina opana ni ala sonamo oko banana sigisoni ka sabuke labe belajele sabatile do envers Bamako ya ani anga marabolo kelengere belajele la wa Bamako ya no ani Mali fam belajele fe akene kotiya koni abeye anga jamana nyemata ni oye general d'armée Assimi Goïta fe chaman be akonana nga ala ko bayre do emi ni mawfama ne kundo ma bisan chaman bo oye défilé mi ni Mali de belajele sigembe ka kono wa défilé mi ni asebekoro labene do fokata fo alabena yaya ni ala sonamo.
Et on va signaler Beka que les populations de la capitale et ses environs sont invitées à faire massivement le déplacement au boulevard de l'Indépendance puisque la fête se veut bien évidemment populaire. Cela sera dans le strict respect, dans le strict respect des mesures sécuritaires. L'environnement que l'on connaît oblige bien évidemment. Et si vous ne pouvez pas faire le déplacement ou que vous avez choisi de ne pas le faire, eh bien nous sommes là pour vous. Le RTM est là pour vous. Nous serons vos yeux et vos oreilles. Nous avons, fidèles à nos engagements, déployé de gros moyens pour que partout où que vous soyez sur le territoire national, vous puissiez vivre cette fête le 22 septembre comme si vous y étiez.
Awa ukelendo ni aya soro ko ni Mali de tola fendo bayira ka fo ko 22 e furo baye adama kaka Mali de belajele mo ikera cheyi ikera muso ikera demisen ikera makoro ye ibe kayire ye barale be furo barala en tout cas mana ke Mali de chogo ya wo chogo ye idama kaka ni nyene je kene tali ni alajalila o nga mamunu be ni ka do ka fo yoro ka ja ulumo ni darula wore be ulu bali seli la keneka aya hakilatike ina fo ladala o tembe au jigi koro ka ke au ka fleli nyeni au ka meni tloe amana ke fanwo fanve amana ke chawo chala na ma se ka minye teleka no ikado Mali teleso bae Mali teleso ba flana au no me Mali arajo so baka wala ma arajo so flana o pa bayira ka fo overtime ni ala sonamo foi konete ni no ala ka latke konna ko mimi teme anga mimi ke saboye ka au ni soja ka to asigirola.
Beka, comme vous l'avez dit, donc nos équipes sont sur le terrain depuis des jours, repérage, installation, et aujourd'hui le jour J, un grand déploiement d'agents. Tous les métiers de l'image et du son sont mobilisés en même temps que les journalistes, animateurs, speakers. Nous qui sommes donc cette partie visible, un déploiement impressionnant d'hommes et de moyens techniques pour la retransmission en direct sur les deux chaînes de télévision, au RTM1, au RTM2, sur la radio nationale, la chaîne 2, mais aussi sur l'ensemble des plateformes digitales, notamment notre page Facebook. Nous serons au four et au moulin avec en tête d'équipe le directeur général lui-même, Hassan Baba Diombele, et à nos côtés nos partenaires de la SMTD pour veiller à ce que le son et les images parviennent correctement à tout le monde.
Yaya ni afraka na ni jitamina onye ni yefien dale mami go bayira ka foko mina warete tuguni wartem ko ni belajele de wulile do kijo abejo akungelembo ne mbare mbisa ka sapati choko mina wartem nyama bayira ni we Hassan Baba Diombele ye ani akabara kala obaka ka talundalo nyana wati belajele ko nana mina untali no blali ani kado bara bise ka sapati choko mina o bara kele be choko mina Bamako ya wa wartem ka bulu farabe Mali fanwo fanve o choko kele fanado o yoro nununa wa minyi kado Bamako ka ye kabi fajiri ko Allahu akbar yaya maude bolero kata boulevard de l'indépendance fa ni oye malika yereta bolomba ye yoro faraka ba donc a fait mi na mo fe oye awaka do a fora mo ka ke chomina na fora ijoya ijoye na fora isigiye na fora isozoro ya sozoro na fora kana se ya ere kana se ka sabuke labe on sabatile do abe kunye anyero ka se ka lakana anga se ka lafia kata ka segi o ka se ka no ya mo
sécurité ko do ngambeka ngo famia. Alors nous ferons bien évidemment le devoir Beka de parler à nos auditeurs, à nos téléspectateurs dans nos 13 langues nationales. Oui, notre souveraineté, c'est aussi nos langues nationales, désormais langues officielles, celles qui véhiculent le mieux notre identité, nos valeurs et qui nous permettent bien évidemment de nous exprimer et de nous comprendre le plus facilement. Les speakers des 13 langues nationales, vous y compris, seront donc sur ce plateau avec nous.
Nala sonamo Mali ye jamana bade ye odela ala ye jamana in laja ka masiri ni ka do shiawe katla ka masiri ni jamu ni onanyu ana wara ye ode ya to watem kono ya kacha ala fe kanwo kambe ka bi fo Mali kono ani nwanche watem fana ye agole ya chugo bela jelela ka o kan fana fo ba laki ka unyine kana ni uye fenwo fembi fo ani fenwo fembi ke o ka se ka o tremesetike ka o ganzi ko lakale o ka fana memba uye o bela jelebe envers watem kono ya wa fenwo fembi na ken ngenenga awa o munu kakanga fo kanwo kana nala sona maubina o bela jele fana me ka damna babananga la kase ka to kelingele bela jele mo.
Alors on nous signale donc que les derniers réglages sont en cours au monument de l'indépendance sur le boulevard de l'indépendance. Nous allons d'un moment à l'autre aller faire un tour sur place avec Abdul Karim Kaba et l'ensemble des équipes présentes. Et nous serons aussi dans ce studio avec Jean Bosco Konaré. Jean Bosco Konaré, il est écrivain, historien, homme de culture de son état, il est professeur d'enseignement supérieur, il est officier de l'ordre national du Mali. Et le plus important dans tout ça, c'est que le jour de l'indépendance, c'est aussi un jour qu'il a vécu. Nous, on n'était pas là, mais lui, il était là.
Sika fo itala yaya konate yanika do ku kadamne ya da nya fo chugomina watembe ni wulika joina be do ko kunkelembo nga sogmada jona ina anga mawbe kene kayeni no ulutara awanyebla barado sabati folo minyi kado wa Abdul Karim Kabaye alebe keneka watima se ani alebe na nyanzoro ni ofana temena ka boni no anya fo chugomina kaumbe ya ulufana bana temeteme ni watikele nkona na awa B22 kono angeme ka wele bla anga jamana kisakele vili domo doni baba dodo ni oye Jean Bosco ye Jean Bosco sebeni kala do Jean Bosco jamana indomba do ka sababu ke minye malika yere taye akoma ke aleko abada ayere kumbe ako chemo opana ni ala sona mo fenwo fenkera ni ale boro belajele kalamo hali ni oya soro an kunte awati nga ala ye angarzege ulu kelengele mununa abina ne kado ka fo mana bo anyeni nga amblasra ka do faranga famuka.
Alors nous disons bonjour à l'ensemble de nos speakers en langue nationale présents déjà dans ce studio et nous allons tenter d'aller faire un tour au boulevard de l'indépendance. Abdul Karim Kaba est donc sur place. On va demander à Abdul Karim Kaba comment est-ce que la situation se présente déjà aux premières heures de cette matinée du 22 septembre.
Alors, Abdul Karim Kaba qui visiblement n'est pas prêt, mais nous avons vu, on a pu le constater sur les images, les officiels qui commencent donc à arriver au boulevard de l'indépendance. Beka.
Awo anya jetemne ka fo Abdul Karim Kaba labende kosobe awanga angoni nye femunu nye jakun valola uye ka fo anga jamana ministre ni ko nyina bola warawu ulu ko ni mbaka ka se keneka usigero baka ka nyine ka ira ulani ala sonamo o nga bara wara munumbe ambulo koroya ambi temeni oluye.
Alors, place déjà au speaker en langue nationale, Khalifa Kone est déjà sur ce plateau avec nous. Bonjour Khalifa.
Mahimio Yaya
22 septembre.
Mahimio Beka
Mahimio Kalfa.
Ayam.
Ah bon, tu comprends beaucoup mots.
Mahimio Konoen.
Mahimio, ça c'est le matin. Aywa, Mubo, Aywa, Yaya Mabio, Beka Bradam, Awa, Adibuzome, wa misère. Adibuzome peine. Amali buzome peine. Mitozo Amali yenwe Sudan. Aho bna Amali. Oyi Amali. Zama be wiati ma be ti onso. Wa muso a misère. Wa mi ha awa ahia wa mabuna abio mitozo nzema bini ha ania wa ma dio mi be wa munyawo mali tubare mabane alizare to bungo so me na tuwa ansemu biza ahami to watero be ma be bana munya abayira mi wadi watini ye atero be ma be bana munya abe amaliza ne mi ina manoji mafeni wopen bana munya abe anu mali tu wato bungo so ozere awabe mi bi ozere awa minia amizeni obralo le mali tu mi bi di ba inguru di pamide wato bungo so le aro tu mi so na aro general d'armée asim gota o ni wura aha ho mali za muyan ba to abe ho mali yibi de we abanu muyan ya mi ho enena to bungo so wura ni lo wura brani ena kiradi tu di versilo be ma bio so ta ti ache ozere o to nu ne ba ngwa se ma bio muya abio mi bi to abu abio musi adim ni tam wa mi bitozo bene o ma ba tu mi yire to bungo so ari muso asilana na wa yi sin filo si ami adi feli a fedio to abu abio wa ni yu akuru ami asani ambe mangbeya buna ahwe awi defile na aba we brabani diwe ya wasasio ba mini amizene bene adunya muya mama azu obralo undo mari fa mi de o be ulu o bza abu abio mani yu akuru ami awato na hamtamia.
Merci donc, merci Khalifa Koné. Nos auditeurs donc en langue nationale Boumou sont, nous l'espérons, édifiés. Le Soudan français actuel Mali, on va dire, obtient une autonomie administrative relative en 56 et se prononce en faveur de l'adhésion à la communauté française en 58. Le Soudan français et le Sénégal s'unissent en 1960 au sein de la Fédération du Mali. Celle-ci proclame son indépendance le 4 avril 1960. Elle est reconnue le 20 juin de la même année. Léopold Sédar Senghor assure la présidence de l'Assemblée fédérale et Modibo Keïta exerce les fonctions de Premier ministre. Des différents politiques entraînent le retrait du Sénégal de la Fédération. Le Sénégal qui proclame son indépendance le 20 août sous la présidence de Senghor. Et le Mali qui fait de même le 22 septembre 1960. Et Modibo Keïta est élu et donc à la tête du nouveau pays qui rompt avec la France et s'oriente vers le socialisme. J'ai rappelé juste quelques faits historiques dont on va parler certainement plus en profondeur avec Jean Bosco Konaré. On va donc passer à Ibrahim Agmohamed qui nous a rejoint sur ce plateau. Bonjour Ibrahim.
Salam alaikum.
Alors,
ما طلع تجديد ندور الخير الجينا شديد غش المقرن فلا شش الواسن تاع السنة الاستقلال المالي صد استمر النواتي تسموش هون غافلان ضهاد جنرال درما سمي قويتا بريزيدون ترانزيسيون السيول الناس السيول اللي دال خير الجنيرات المالي غرب فلا سلغة أصلا فليدير الجوجل مشان اللي غط الشغل انغرب بيسنتني أكنني وارتبط ديتا جاني اسم لنا الغسكر الصوجي وين هارو ما سلغسكر الدوبي عادي الطف الدولة أنا الإغمالي أول غفلة غراتي متى غرت سعدك لنا التابدي أدبسنت أما نظارة الحكومة نسنت نظارة العسكر نسنت أول غهار ودابت الدولة نسنت تندق السلمغنا واضح سنتا أو لغن اللغت بريزيدون ترانزيسيون اصلا عسكرنا اللي غاش اللي دغل عسكر مقرن مشان اللي غت سلاتها تنجوت نجاني نجاك دغل كولن اجاك دغ سلام وي سنتر دي فورماسيون بروفيسيونيل اجاك دغ سلام وي دقلني الشغل انغرد يبدا الحكومه مالي دغ تاصيب على دوما سنارات يستغرد طافن الشغل الناس اموس خداما سلمغنا واسنتا سدوبت وين غف اللي غت اسيغرات متي هروا اللي غت اساس تكنيت بدي تكنيت جباس وين هار ومس الدوله نسن بدادا الصوهي نجاك الخير الجيني يا بيكا اواد غستاكلو كلات نواس الدبات الغمرات السلام ويدق نشل ولا الاستقلال
تغلاسن.
Merci donc Ibrahim Mohamed. On va quand même tenter d'aller faire un tour du côté du boulevard de l'Indépendance. On va essayer de retrouver nos services extérieurs avec à la narration Abdul Karim Kaba. Abdul Karim Kaba, est-ce que vous m'entendez à présent? Si vous m'entendez, comment est-ce que la situation se présente au moment où nous parlons sur le boulevard de l'Indépendance?
Well, bonjour Yaya Konaté, bonjour tout le monde. Et bien, bienvenue ici au boulevard de l'Indépendance pour en tout cas les festivités du 65e anniversaire de l'indépendance du Mali. Et oui, ce matin, le public malien est sorti sur le boulevard de l'Indépendance. Certains même ont passé la nuit, en tout cas pour être des témoins oculaires de cette célébration de l'indépendance du Mali. Eh bien, les Maliens sont sortis. Eh bien, le boulevard est déjà bourré de monde puisque il y a plusieurs milliers de publics venus assister aux festivités du 65e anniversaire de l'indépendance du Mali. Oui, 65 ans, le Mali est indépendant. Avec moi pour en tout cas cette cérémonie de la fête de l'indépendance, capitaine Ibrahim Maïga de la DIPA. Capitaine Maïga, bonjour.
Bonjour Abdul Kaba.
Alors, comment se présente cette fête nationale?
Bon, cette fête nationale, nous allons la fêter vraiment. C'est une fête, cet anniversaire, ce 65e anniversaire de l'indépendance de notre pays se fêtera par un imposant défilé militaire qui va se passer ici, le boulevard de l'indépendance, ici à Abdul Kaba. Donc, il y aura un défilé des troupes à pied. En plus de cela, il y aura aussi un défilé motorisé et ensuite un passage des vecteurs de l'armée de l'air. Abdul Kaba.
Alors, vous l'avez dit, pendant des semaines, des jours ici au boulevard de l'indépendance, en tout cas, tout le monde, tous les secteurs, aucun secteur n'a été oublié pour que cette fête soit belle. Eh bien, ça fait longtemps que les Maliens n'ont pas assisté, en tout cas, cette façon de célébration de fête de l'indépendance du Mali. Eh bien, cette année, l'année 2025, l'année de la culture, eh bien, avec l'arrivée des diplomates et des personnalités ici au boulevard de l'indépendance pour assister, pour être des témoins oculaires de cette célébration du 65e anniversaire de l'indépendance du Mali.
Abdul Karim Kaba, la capitale qui bien évidemment a vécu ces derniers jours au rythme de ces préparatifs BK, les préparatifs de ces défilés. On a constaté quand même que notre capitale s'est parée de ses plus beaux habits. Il y a le drapeau national qui flotte un peu partout. La fête nationale, c'est une démonstration d'unité et de souveraineté qui est prévue. Voilà donc l'indépendance, ça va se passer sur cette artère symbolique de la capitale qui est devenue le théâtre des répétitions militaire à grande échelle ces derniers jours.
Awo ya fo chumina awa ni wati damado en konna na mauye ajatemene ka fo anga Mali fa ba ni oye Bamako ye akora ka je ka fini kura do ala ni oye Mali drapeau ye o kon ba ka fele Bamako fa be ani Mali seleke nani belajele la wa munu yere fana ye anyere ye anyan ko kura ka je awa anga fini nyuma munu be ni oluti do dombe kote wuli fini munu go an fana ye olu fana do ana kalatiko suma do mon fia ana do yere sire ka do ka fo kenenga e ina fo kabaye a fo chukomina opana awa minye awa ko chifle o fana ye ni o repetition ye o chama kera ne wati laba nu konana awa Bamako konana akra so yaye kasira do temeni yere fana dafandi maula mawkum se ka ta munu fanwara fengani ala sonamo ni be kunye ni kwembe se ka dla ka nya chukomina ka kemali dem sakoyi.
Donc vous l'avez entendu comme Abdul Karim Kaba et son invité viennent de nous le dire, ce ne sera pas une simple prise d'armes comme par le passé, ce sera un défilé grandeur nature, aérien et terrestre avec toutes les composantes des forces armées maliennes. Le ciel sera sillonné par les avions militaires, donc on se prépare à résonner au rythme de ces moteurs et de ces drapeaux, signe d'un pays décidé à montrer sa force. La célébration du 65e anniversaire de l'indépendance dépasse donc un peu ce cadre commémoratif pour être un signal envoyé aux partenaires comme aux adversaires du Mali. Le Mali entend assumer pleinement sa souveraineté et sa résilience.
Ya ningunye ni mafilambe nyinga samu kwa mwango bo ni nywana wa fetu make 22 septembre la aneke kumbe maula mau koni demsin tambe munu maseka munu shima tayroja ulu koni ya mangutu menga o madelika ye ni mena na ka ulu do chien folo kaseka 22 yana ye ya fo chukomina défilé babina na ke nga défilé na jama yoro ere belebele kerengerene do emiye oye sordasi défilé de ye sordasi défilé mi ni amina fencha manye sordasu ka barake mina una kele kɛlɛkɛminɛnw bɛ a la minnu bɛ boli dugu ma kɛlɛkɛminɛnw bɛ a la minnu bɛ boli sanfɛ kɛlɛkɛminɛnw bɛ a la minnu yɛrɛ ye k'a dɔn k'a fɔ hali baganw ye ni o ye sow ni a ɲɔgɔnnaw ni ɲaamɛw ni fɛn wɛrɛw ye an bɛna nin kelen kelen bɛɛ lajɛlen ye bi ni ala sɔnna a ma min bɛna maaw nisɔndiya nka nin bɛɛ lajɛlen taara malidenw ka muɲu ni u ka sabali de kan fo ka n'an se bi mɔ yaya o fana o b'a yira k'a fɔ alhamdulilayi mali bɔra yɔrɔ jan wa ni ala sɔnna a ma an ka laɲini ye fɛn min ye an kun bɛ o ka ɲɔrɔman jan ala fana
an bɛ k'a fɔra ko para wɛrɛ bɛna jigin boulevard kan bi o
o tɛ u ka sanfɛ fɛn ninnu ɲama o fana ye kɛlɛkɛla minnu ka kɛlɛw bɛ kɛ sanfɛ kɛlɛkɛcɛw olu bɛ yɛlɛ u ka para de la u bɛ taa fo u ni dugukolo yɛrɛ cɛ bɛ kilomɛtiri ba k'u bɔ u bɛ yɛlɛ n'u ye fo sa legelegele la n'u tiɲɛna ka turu tɛgɛ da kabakolo yɛrɛ ka tila k'u fili ka jigin dugu ma u bɛna jɔ yɔrɔ yɛrɛ min na o b'a sɔrɔ u y'o yɔrɔ de tamasiyɛn fana yira jamana ɲɛmaa la k'a fɔ ni ala sɔnna a ma général d'armée Asimi Goïta ne bɛ yɛlɛ ka taa fo nin kilomɛtiri hakɛ la n bɛ tila ka jigin ka na n jɔ nin yɔrɔnin na cɛw ka garidaw fili ye
bɛka n'an tora k'e fili o yɔrɔ la a bɛ sɔn ka kɛ baara ye dɛ
waati dɔw la an yɛrɛ denmisɛnninba tun bɛ to k'a dɔw kɔrɔbɔ anw bɛ yɛlɛ yiri de sanfɛ an tun bɛ yɛlɛ yiri sanfɛ k'an ju ka jigin nka yiriju tɛ nin yɔrɔnin la
Abdoulaye Tambasi bonjour
Nari Ando Baraja.
Alors,
Bamakane Akara Gole.
On est le 22 septembre.
Donc, il y a l'enquête Mali le mention Kabajalene na sababunya o Horarum Brankama. Tant de Merosino Kragi. Mali na Kenkita l'enquête ni Yagali Hore. Nga Angana Mugo Horao Surana Jopa. Surubunga Jopa. O kuinero daronde aruchikale wala katia ko jamane ni mankenyi megara ko mo wuri muro ke tari kapalemu aro seresu gari na kanan chiti nan kata hora ko kekino jamane nga kuinero daronde aruchikale o katia kenda nga hale kana hibe ga no jamane sora sununga agaba nanti kunya na wuro wo kiye wo kamengure wo kiye ngure wo mulenga wo dakunga nan kata jamane le muntangana nan kata jamane le mundi kitra honun tangana kuinero daronde aruchikale o kata kunga hane lakini kota hore ba hora ko nan koto hora on kita enta kitene abada mangana na kanin chiti kayni jamani ni mankengara muru jamani le mechu ma nanti ono mera ono kitun kinime olo do lagabane mburo lagabane hebe ko nyana sababu duna ga kata kanoy mogombe ba ko ma mera ga aw nyana sababu o golle ngo nyana free kayni jamani ni mankengara ken koto di jamani le mu ma mo sire to ngani le lenki koto ngo jamani no gondi nga koto ke o ko nun koto nyeni ngarantanye mena abada mo jamane le muchu ga kitenkini mena kata golini na hakala bane wutu na dolo laga bane na mburo laga bane hibe go nyana sababu ko to ke ga kata baka jamane kama mogombe kene o jamane nyima kenyi mega sehewuri ara sorasu nun ko nyimo sere bawati kunga he na kan city palle jamane ke go dingira be le ke o mai kene nonga bawo wakati nyino jamane ke ani ga bo halala gore bawo jamane takande chuinga ga nga hebe gani o jamane le munyi meri na kanin chiti nan kata jamane ke nan kata baka kiteri nan kata horago nan kata hokapai nan kata horago nan kata jidini kenyeni oga munda jamane le menchu maga lenki nkata nyala nyali ko tai ho go jamane ke no daro jamane palle o jamane tungaran ko hakari ni suri besu ni ka ma mele ke da hakala nya bane hebe go nyana sababu jamane ke horago ngaro kata sabati ni mogombe kenyeni jamane ni mankeni la kalo digangaberi hebe no go tari agabap nanti jamane nchora sunira gulli gabenya nankata hibe gani jamane kimpa kambange ara gantenya nankata kembo sini konunga nankata jamane la gare digranchu nankata la hayandini kembe nga sawo ku indero daronde wala katia har sawa mundunu jamane lemu maga besu ni hakrala nya bane besu na meraga besu na green anchigi na jamane keraga agaro kata yana sababu mogombe hibe gani kherendo la hayanga ro kata sabati jamane ken ngon mogombe salli qurani ke salle lenki salle amenta bawo awo tampile side baka kembe salle manya jamane nyima kenyi mera kanu nanti na nya salli qore na koy nanti jamane ke hora hunga ma kenyi sago kembe ran kama lenki o besu kunyini hibe go yana sababu salle ke garo kanya salle sahabante garo nyana salle kherente salle ke garo kanya salle hibe gani jamane le miso garo kata nyalti hibe yeah hibe gani o magana kara kati gollungo jopne kenya heke alla re fare gana dingo o ko diga mun kuten ko inaga katkani
Merci. Abdoulaye Tambassi. Oui, Beka.
Nous mazé maraka fait. Ni woni ka do bashini ngoye.
Ah, oti dese quoi.
Oti dese. Wa so ngame kam mishu brief ambe fekara ni nono kane. Para foka ta fo 22 bana ambe bashiga.
Na la sona. Aywa. D'accord. Ambe kanga bashi kono Tambassi bulu. Maintenant, est-ce que Beka tu as vu ce qui s'est passé hier soir?
Nyaye nyaye mali teleso baka nyaye mauka sira fana fe bololoka yaya an fana dama me ala bolo an de makɔrɔba ye jamana in kɔnɔ nka an ma deli ka nin ɲɔgɔn ye nin bɛɛ lajɛlen ye fɛɛrɛ kuraw ye min bɛ mali ka ɲɛtaa ko fɔ nin bɛɛ lajɛlen ye fɛɛrɛ kuraw ye malidenw ka kan ka sɔn hali bi ka da jamana in na k'a fɔ sini bɛ an bolo ka da jamana ko ɲɛnabɔlaw la k'a fɔ an n'u ka kan ka jɛ ka nin baara in kɛ ɲɔgɔn fɛ yaya n'an ma da ɲɔgɔn na ka sɔn ɲɔgɔn ɲɛ ka ɲɔgɔn bolo minɛ.
Milliers de drones, et milliers de drones dans le ciel bamakois depuis l'esplanade du CICB. C'était un programme lumineux présidé par le Premier ministre qui a offert une série de chorégraphies mettant en scène les 65 ans du Mali, incarnant son présent et prédisant son avenir, le tout accompagné d'illuminations aux couleurs nationales. Alors, il paraît que c'est un signe de passage de flambeau parce que le spectacle de drone constituait une alternative au feu d'artifice. Plus écologique et les drones sont réutilisables pour d'autres besoins.
Allah yaya anye niye chere la niye amawuta niye amawuta ka dako ere la benchoni ame premier ministre foka wala nyimando ani abara kenyon pelagele opara ni mina fo feu d'artifice ni mina na la ale de nona be domina ka keta masra ka taye orina yaya anye fenchamanye ni mauni soja ka anglisi.
Alors si je comprends bien c'est le ministre de la Défense et des anciens combattants qui est en train de passer en revue ses troupes présentement jalonnées le long de ce parcours du boulevard de l'Indépendance. Il passe, il vérifie si tout se passe très bien.
Ministre Mimbe anga jamana awa keleko ani soldat sikoro ka konya kuna ni oye général de corps d'armée awa Sadio Kamara ye ale de sera kena ka sadani na folola ale bina aka cɛdenw lajɛ yaya k'u ka finiw lajɛ k'u ka sabaraw lajɛ k'u ka fugulanw lajɛ awa k'u ka awa garadiw bɛɛ lajɛlen doncogow lajɛ ni min da jɛngɛba a b'o tile ni min da furasɛlɛ a b'a fɔ taa nin yɔrɔ in tile joona kana yaya c'est à dire fiɲɛ o fiɲɛ bɛ yen a bɛ nin ɲɛ da o bɛɛ ka fɔlɔ k'a bɛɛ latile k'a bila yanni kotigi yɛrɛ ka na.
Zanga walima Clésigué de. Clésigué. Bonjour.
Bonjour Konaté.
Ayiwa kibaruya jumɛn bɛ yen ni 22 septembre na ka lase an balima sɛnɛfɔkan fɔlɔw ma.
Konate mia yishere Beka mia yishere maleche majo wonane ya 10 septembre yege champi keshone na shunwune kro changa katechina yene kamfo nkuba sichera ke bane wokina pya ma leyelio maleche majo ninye nya wokina leyelio ke ye ke bane na ye kankro alors nefuke plaga wokina neka fa président général d'armée Assimi Goïta ora ma mewa wokina fonction bi puna ma wokina ndongo sare maleche barnga wa mapia koke na barna wa makaka uye posankike oninja nya changmu defilenga cha mpiwane boulevard de l'Indépendance na maleche defilenga sumpike o champi nyampo na tarna sorosubi na civili mpipia makaka mafura mapie cheke vendenga nya changa wa makaka mande muche bie mujina kelnya woso yena umo sinancha yena woso uye foto pia barna.
Merci donc Clésigué. L'armée sera donc au cœur de la commémoration. L'armée malienne qui est une force et qui est la garante de notre souveraineté. L'armée malienne qui est donc un pilier essentiel de la nation. Cette armée qui a une histoire glorieuse et qui présentement fait face à la lutte contre le terrorisme avec beaucoup d'efficacité. On va continuer à en parler sur ce plateau d'écran.
Nala sonama yaya ni ameka awa sanyi mena klishi kadida de mosonyoro soro ni ya yi bi ma fengo fenka aka soro ngana do de bi bolo ba be fo ko ngana tiya de kadini ngana ya yere yi an ga jamana ngana uye alla kana bawye abolo fara belajele kerengerene na soro da siuni o arme maliye olu de ka wuli ka jo kera sababu yaye an ga se ka da anyira la ka bara jamanke wahala be domini ko bi an de be lafia la olu be wuli ka jo la fengo fembe ko be ke de kunye ka mali jamana ni mali de soro olu ka wuli ka jo benedo o de kun belajele la salimo ikera ko jugu kela yewo ikera fere jugu were ni janjugu were dabaw yewo an ga jamana ka keleke chew ni u ka fere u sirbaw nyebe ni kelengele belajele la yaya ngani ala sonamo ni wati nun kona na bitle kona na fencha mafoka
Salif Kanouté, bonjour.
Ya konate. Bega. Lomol beli.
Kanouté.
Me khontono la sira na mafle bol bela jeno me waxto men to bi. Kala kan be keno men to bi. Mali kala yere ma khoro ya ta khasi bima. Sanji bi woro ani sanji lolo lu ne saw. Amanke gansa. Ndal kha waxto dolje. Bari nyinanta ni mo fi bulu fa be la ni mo kha. Kala ka jamano tumbe bulo men kha. Ka jamano talaka bu jamana dolu bu ngotu ka say xek ka fu ñoma amanke gansa o wala xalu men keta xalim bi xayta jamana dulu la te situ membe sinto jamana kuntu na la gouvernement be menna mfan dama dul xam bu di ñoma ay ke sabab kilo silo menna jamana dulu ko xara ñoma bar ni ka ko ci xam fele xadam ta yerma hore atalo ma fokasi bima sanji bi worani sanji lulu bari nyaabe fodol la nyinan tato nte fambe nani ponku to febi hada ba dugo be bonni ne pon sama to ko ton ibe nani ibe bor le sula khana darapol be minini la bandero be minini la ibe ma khebor khana nte fanna ta kam minini ngo menga jane ngai si radio mari fon ko ja amanke mun ngoti o bonu ji nyaabe kelke mero men nakabiri lunjo ma fokasi bima ni nun tumbe mbulu kabrin ganne satara be ko mede satara o ko ibe mo be si la tunu bari jeni tambili men jele nyala o jati o je men kela drone mem mo de baraman drone lo na dindi nyakono abe ko bur lege lege abe frifri la santo le na to dora si jito ya e be bulo ko galma watara ke sotela donc même ni na jamono dum fe mfan de ma xam bulu di ñoma malin te mo te tati mfan da maletamu abenta mfanu atinyata mfanu adu me ben fanu ko fon fanu ya mar xam bulu di ñoma jamono kunto ka testo men kan ni mare no moto la mentol malonde bari ka testo men gamre na simma amta ku ñuma ala ko wakil ma di mfandu me do ala halin bi ala ka basko sebti jamono ko beka konate
Merci.
Merci Salif. On parlait donc Beka du passé, de ce passé glorieux de cette armée qui s'est illustrée par son courage et sa détermination dans la défense de l'intégrité de notre territoire, de la souveraineté de notre pays, de la lutte donc pour l'intégrité du territoire, aux opérations de maintien de la paix en Afrique. Les forces armées maliennes ont toujours répondu présentes avec honneur et bravoure.
Yaya aunga jamana armée bora yorojan u ye ko chaman ke awai ka do ka fo u dona da chaman ve ka bot da chaman ve u dona geleya chaman kono ka bo geleya chaman kono wa farafina jamana u ka dogon ko agwane kundo yoro mina na unga jamana ka keleke chew mata yeni no kana ni basigi ni ko dlawnye o pana ni ala sonama o jamana keleke chew de fana ye sababu nyumanye u ka jamana mo
u yu kale ka fo ko ni saya nana olu bi saya ta o ngado ka maloto enino bawo u ye fini do feminga u hakili bola wo ya do ko min fana kam ni ala sona mo hakili bola yaya ambu foko wala nyimando
Amadou Bado Abdoulaye
Maiga
Maiga
konate kenivani
bismillah
Ibrahim Gassab
kanibani
erga salam gorgel gor frigo war fondo gorgel barkana mirko subhanahu wa ta'ala shekkan nirce ba hozaro jiri waddu cindi gu kamali gonan barkin tara tabarakallah erga beren war shekkan ganda jin huniya manta anal barka biri dam mirko subhanahu wa ta'ala shanal barka dam mali zai afo kulshe wi aru zanka barbe nun kulkan haragan warga bara aga beren dikan ngagama warshen ne she ngagadi warshen we kala warga bara me bor fo kul nun kul kala ga bara amanti kala mali za fo kul ni nakira no kaba nun kul kala ga bara goy kul kala gonda irko ba kala mali masolam ga borcin tara mali masolam nga ala da way mali masolam ga goy kai ndaga waye nda are nda zankai nda borbere kulte a folo ka kira no kaba nda irko ba wokan ir ganda gin hun gina way kan modi boke ta ndange maci na way ina hense ganda she kala amata bati wadalla a barendi kan hala so ngay gonge bonga ngay wokan da irko ne hinan dinga shete hala mali zara dan kai mali dawo nun kul
kul afokul kanno labiza fokul kanno goyko fokul kanno maliza fokul kanno nukul kallaga barakala mali bolci tara ma daranga bama di mali ranga bon agal barka bere dam ganda shagal